we have acquired the contract of right-handed pitcher Roy Oswalt from the Houston Astros in exchange for left-handed pitcher J.A. Happ, outfielder Anthony Gose, and infielder Jonathan Villar. Our goal, as I've been stating for a while, is to try to add some pitching to our club. We're trying to do what we can to get back to the World Series and to win it.
And so the beat goes on, and the forward thinking goes on as well, as the Phillies have put together a trade with the Houston Astros. Roy Oswalt will be wearing the red pinstripes. In fact, he will make his Phillies debut, according to Ruben Amaro, tomorrow night when the Phillies take on the Washington Nationals. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy. Along with Chris Wheeler. Gary Matthews will be along in just a little bit. Well, the beat does go on, and the buzz goes on here at Citizens Bank Park in what is arguably the biggest trade so far in Major League Baseball. The Phillies, for the 5th consecutive year, have acquired some rotation help.
Well, it's always fun to be the buyers at this time of the year as opposed to the sellers like the Phillies were for so long, Tom. And to get this guy is pretty amazing. Ruben Amaro and his staff did an amazing job to put this whole thing together, because it's so hard to do this stuff nowadays. To get a frontline pitcher like this, Roy Oswalt is really, really good. Now, the guy's had a few injury problems over the last few years, but he's been healthy all year. They haven't scored any runs for him. 2 best pitches, fastball, and that baby right there, that big old over-the-top hook, 12-6. He'll throw a changeup a little bit, but for the most part, he throws fastball, curveball, a little slider. He's 32. He'll be 33 soon. Born in Mississippi, and that's what he has done in his major league career, an earned run average of 3.24. This guy's been a multiple-time All-Star. And he's one of those pitchers that I don't think I've ever heard a hitter say when they're going to face him say, oh, good, Roy Oswalt's pitching for Houston now. He's tough.
Well, he's tough, and he's also been pretty good in the postseason, which Ruben Amaro was also very quick to point out during his press conference earlier today. So Roy Oswalt is officially a member of the Philadelphia Phillies. We'll talk more about him throughout the course of tonight's telecast. And tonight it will be Kyle Kendrick on the mound for the Phillies. He'll be opposed by a guy that was just acquired from the LA Angels of Anaheim, Joe Saunders. Well, there's a lot of news around Philadelphia, including the red-hot swing of Jason Worth, 10 for 17 on this homestand. We'll get to the lineups in the first pitch when we return. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Budweiser, official beer of the thirst inning. Budweiser, it's what we do. By Southwest Airlines. Want to see what a real airline is like? Go to southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on. By Toyota. There are many reasons to buy a Toyota. Now's the perfect time to get yours during Toyota's National Clearance Event. By Xfinity. It's TV, phone, and internet reinvented from Comcast. By Citizens Bank, with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. And by Independence Blue Cross. We're here for you every step of the way. The Arizona Diamondbacks. Then let's take a look at the Diamondbacks starting lineup, brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Leading it off in center field, Chris Young. Kelly Johnson, the second baseman, bats second. Justin Upton bats third, followed by Adam LaRoche, the first baseman. Miguel Montero, the catcher, hits fifth. Mark Reynolds, the third baseman, bats sixth. And the bottom third is Stephen Drew, Gerardo Parra, and Joe Saunders. And they'll face right-hander Kyle Kendrick, who is ready to go. 20th start of the season and the first pitch of the night. A fastball taken for a strike, and we're underway. 6-4 with a 4.60 earned run average. And although he was roughed up in his start before his last one, he pitched very well in his last time out. He gets Chris Young to hit one off the end of the bat to the left side of the infield. Wilson Valdez puts it away, and there's the first out of the night.
And here's our Southwest Airlines scouting report on Kyle. Of course, you know he has to make sure that he gets left-handed hitters out, but he has to command that sinker and be consistent with it, continue to develop those secondary pitches. And against the Diamondbacks, not so hot. He had a tough outing against them out there this year.
Last 14 starts overall, though. Kendrick is 6-3, an earned run average of 3.96. Here's Kelly Johnson. And Johnson takes one a little low. Johnson is 1 for 8 in this series so far. He has scored a couple of runs. He's also picked up a walk, but he has good numbers against Kendrick. And that's in there for a strike. Diamondbacks are kind of going in the opposite direction of the Phillies. They have lost 6 consecutive games, whereas the Phillies, well, they've been red hot. Kirk Gibson's been trying to stabilize the ship in Arizona. 1-2 the count to Johnson.
And they're headed up the Turnpike tonight to play the Mets for 3 games. So the Phillies would like to beat them once and then let them stabilize the ship.
Charlie Manuel's team has won 7 consecutive ball games. And that's only part of the story, because that win streak is even longer here at home.
Well, they're getting a little bit closer to everybody settling down right now, too. You know, with this trade deadline stuff that's been around, and some guys have been on edge about it, no doubt. And, you know, listening to Ruben today doesn't mean he can't do something else, but that move he made today is huge. And that kind of, and with Shane going on the disabled list and all, you know, that kind of worked itself out, all this stuff.
3-2 the count to Kelly Johnson. And he fouls it off, and it remains full 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Kelly Johnson hit a home run off Kyle in the game out in Arizona, and also Reynolds did too. Gave up 5 earned runs in 1 inning in the 5th inning. He was sailing along.
He was sailing, yeah.
And then boom, they hit him.
Well, that had been the case, or has been the case a number of times this year for Kyle, is that 5th inning just seems to be his biggest issue.
Yeah. Well, sometimes second, third time to an order, you know, it can happen. He was, as you said, really good in that oppressive heat on Saturday afternoon against Colorado.
Another foul ball by Kelly Johnson. 10th pitch of the inning. The Phillies have won 6 straight on this homestand, 7 straight overall, hitting .324. How about the runs per game, up to 6.8? Jason Worth has really helped out offensively. Change up, lined it to left, a base hit. So that was a pitch that was up. And it's a 1-out single for Kelly Johnson. Time now for our Nissan keys to the game, Wills.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We have the Nissan keys to the game right now. And, well, I just put down one game at a time. You know, that's what Charlie talks about all the time. Phillies have been playing better, but, you know, they dug a pretty good hole for themselves. And they're facing Saunders tonight, who's a really good pitcher. Struggled this season, but this is the first time he'll start over here in this league. And this guy can put a good game together.
Well, it's the end of the model year, and Nissan's laying it all on the line. Nissan's bottom line sales event going on now. Here's Justin Upton. He's hit 13 straight. They weren't sure if he would play tonight, but after taking some extra batting practice, his hip seemed to be better. So they decided to put arguably their hottest hitter back in the lineup. He missed yesterday's ball game. You saw his overall numbers, hitting .280 with 16 homers and 49 runs batted in. And a quick toss over, and Johnson is back standing. There's Dominic Brown. Speaking of right fielders, what a night he had last night in his debut. And there was a lot of things that were fun to watch last night. One of the best things was just watching him run the bases.
Yeah, he can run.
Charlie Manuel was asked today about Dominic Brown. He said, did you ever think of changing your mind and starting him today? Charlie just looked, smiled, and said, we got a plan. He said, I sat down with Dominic and laid it all out for him, told him what he would be doing. He'd be playing 60, 70% of the time. Change up inside.
Yeah.
Or fastball inside, excuse me.
Yeah, he's talking on his radio show about that, and that he's had a lot of young players in his career, and he says, I know how to handle them. I know how to work them into games. I know how to get them ready. And then he said, and his term was great. He says, and we'll know when to turn them loose. And that's a good way to put it.
Outside, 3-0 now to Justin Upton.
When you got a left-handed hitter like he is too, and you don't see that many left-handed pitchers, they want to just spot him a little bit against left-handed pitching early on. At some point, he'll play against everybody.
He had decent numbers against lefties as Upton takes a pitch low, but that was down in the minor leagues.
Right.
Well, the Phillies begin play tonight, 3 games out of the National League East. That's because the Braves on our Toyota Major League scoreboard lost to the Nationals 5-3. Adam Dunn had a double and an RBI. Phillies are 3 games back. The Mets 6.5 games back, and the Marlins, who also won today over the San Francisco Giants, are 7.5 games back.
Long rain delay in that game in Washington, and it was in the 6th inning, and then they came back. The Nationals added another run, won by 2.
Runners on first and second. Here's Adam LaRoche. 4 for his last 23, and he takes a pitch inside. And Kyle now is having trouble finding the strike zone.
Yeah, and that can happen. They have a bunch of left-handed hitters in this lineup, and that will be the key, whether he can handle them or not.
LaRoche is 1 for 6 in this series, and he's batting with 2 aboard and 1 out here at the top of the first. There's a strike at the knees, and it's 1-1. It sounds strange, but Jay Happ being traded to Houston probably alleviates a little pressure from Kyle Kendrick's mind, because the Phillies were going to make a deal at the deadline, and Happ wasn't involved in it, then, and if it was for a starting pitcher, then it might have been Kendrick who would have been out of the starting rotation.
Right.
But instead, it looks like his spot is solidified.
See what he's done here in this first inning. He's trying to establish his sinker, trying to get it in good spots, and then use his other pitchers. There's Cole Hamels, Roy Halladay, and then that other Roy will be sitting there some nights.
1-1 the count to LaRoche. Swing and a miss. And he gets a good sinker on the inside part of the plate. It's 1-2. During the 2010 season, Turkey Hill will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream, sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. Oh, he's ahead 1-2 to Adam LaRoche. And he tried to go to the same spot. That one was a little farther inside, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, he tried to throw that little cutter that he's come up with now, and you can see there on the replay, he just cut so far inside. LaRoche saw it right away and took it for a ball.
That one just missed. Mike Everett, the home plate umpire, flinched. He was ready to pop up, but that ball may have slid inside at the last moment, or not enough toward the black at the last moment.
Right. He tried to run that little comeback fastball in there, and it was inside.
Mike Everett's the home plate umpire. Adrian Johnson's at first. Tim McClellan, the crew chief, is at second, and Andy Fletcher's over at third.
See if they run here.
Pretty good speed on the base paths. Upton is faster than Johnson. 3-2 the count. They don't go, and the pitch hit foul.
Yeah, there's 2 schools of thought on it. You have a sinker ball pitcher, so you think about running to stay out of a double play. But the other thing is, does this guy swing and miss a lot as far as Kirk Gibson's concerned? And if he does, Carlos Ruiz got an easy shot at third base, because the runners, it really doesn't matter about speed in this situation. They're just hanging in there until the pitch is thrown.
There is Kirk Gibson with Bo Porter, his bench coach. And he fouls another one off. A lot of foul balls so far in this first inning for Kyle.
Well, Kendrick is not a strikeout pitcher. You know, Kyle is a contact type pitcher, has to hit his spots, and sometimes it can be tough for him to put a guy away, so you see a lot of foul balls.
Kyle has had an odd couple of weeks. He was optioned to Lehigh Valley but never pitched for the Iron Pigs. Instead was reactivated by the Phillies when Jamie Moyer got hurt. Here is the 8th pitch of the at-bat to LaRoche. And a little number foul, and it remains 3-2. "23 total pitches for Kyle Kendrick. And a pop-up. Middle of the diamond. Infield fly rule is called immediately. Polanco's under it, makes the catch, 2 outs.
Oh, good job. He wins the battle.
So 2 away, and that'll bring Miguel Montero to the plate. Another left-handed batter.
Here it is. What that? Well, that looked like it was like he tried to cut a little bit and it stayed up. I don't think it wouldn't throw a 3-2 change up there. He may have gotten away with one. But anyway, he popped it straight up the chute.
A couple of his fastballs tonight have been, 88, 89 instead of in the low 90s where they usually are. But he's got some movement on him. Here's Montero.
Yeah, those 88, 89s could be cutters like that one.
Yeah, that one. That one had the traditional cut of a cutter from a right-handed pitcher. Montero thought it might have been a little inside. He is, along with a number of other Diamondbacks, struggling. 6 for his last 41, but 1 for his last 18. So 2 the count.
Had that front come through here this afternoon, kind of a dry cold front, no rain, and now the wind has really changed, coming out of the northwest, blowing towards the right field corner, and it's gotten a lot more pleasant.
See, 89 degrees. It's going to be beautiful here this weekend.
Sorry, I thought it was the northwest, but it's the northeast. It's out of the north, though, and the flags are going that way.
In the dirt, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
It's going to be nice here this weekend, and thankfully we're not that far away, so it'll be nice where we are, too.
Phillies have a 3-game series coming up against the Nationals.
Feeling some Phillies fans could be down there for Roy Oswalt tomorrow night. No, that could be loud for the Phillies and Oswalt. He'll think, wait a minute, I thought I went to Washington.
Little roller foul. Way inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. During this stretch in which the Phillies have won 7 straight, they've hit .317, as we mentioned. The opposition's hitting only .197 against the Phillies pitchers, and the Phillies have outscored the opposition 43-15. But they have fallen behind a couple of different times and have had to come from behind. Toward first base, nice easy hop for Ryan Howard. Well, it took 30 pitches, but Kyle Kendrick has gotten through the top of the first inning. No runs, 1 hit, 2 men left. Middle of the first is the Diamondbacks nothing, and the Phils coming up. game. Let's take a look at the Phillies starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Leading off at second base, Placido Polanco. Raul Ibanez, the left fielder, hits second. Ben Francisco bats third, followed by Ryan Howard, the first baseman. Jason Worth is in center field batting fifth. Cody Ransom, the third baseman, bats sixth. And the bottom third are Carlos Ruiz, Wilson Valdez, and Kyle Kendrick. And they will face left-hander Joe Saunders, who is making his first start with the Diamondbacks wheels after 20 difficult starts with the Angels.
Yeah, you see his numbers aren't good. And this is a contact-type pitcher. He doesn't walk a whole lot, but, you know, his walk-strikeout ratio is not good. He's not going to strike out that many. Normally doesn't walk that many. He throws a lot of tailing fastballs to right-handed hitters, tries to make you hit the ball. Here's a Southwest Airlines scouting report. You see his fastball is a sinker, kind of tails. He will also throw change, slider, and curveball. He really likes to throw his changeup along with his fastball, and that's his numbers against the National League. And one of those wins against the Phillies back in June of 2008 when he beat them 6-2 here, and he was good that night. 7 innings, 2 earned runs.
He allowed 5 hits, struck out 3. And Polanco greets him with a liner to right. Upton's over. He can't get it. He misplays it. And it goes to the wall. And Polanco will be at second. And the Phils out of the chute very quickly offensively.
Well, that's a great approach to take to Saunders, who put on the report the way he likes to sink and his fastball away from right-handed hitters and throw changeups. And, you know, if you don't take the ball the other way with him, you'll play Pepper with a shortstop. Now, Upton is struggling defensively out there. He was playing really deep the other night, and they were first to thirding on him. That ball, he just flat out misjudged it. I guess he'll score it a double because he really didn't touch it. But it's a ball. Obviously, should have just been a single.
Well, it is a double for Polanco, his 18th of the year. And here's Raul Ibanez, who's hit in 7 straight. Raul has put up some very impressive numbers since the All-Star break. In fact, he is hitting .405 since the break, which is the 4th best batting average in the National League among hitters who have at least 20 at-bats. That's not a lot of at-bats.
He's really been successful in that 3-hole against right-handed pitching. Now he'll be trying to pull the ball here.
Hitting in the number 2 spot, and he taps it foul, and it's 1-1. Well, it is 80s retro night here at the ballpark. That's a pretty good head of hair that Raul's got going.
They're going to have some really interesting shots up there tonight.
They had Polanco in a Karate Kid type of look when he was up there. In the air to center field. That's pretty well hit. Young on the run toward the track. Makes the catch. Polanco will tag. He'll go to third. So Ibanez got the job done. He gets Polanco over at third with less than 2 outs.
Yeah, good job by Raul. He drives the ball deep, and very good base running by Placido Polanco. You just hang around second. You know, look out there and see where the outfielder is, and make sure you get yourself over to third.
So now he can score on a ground ball, fly ball to the outfield. With Ben Francisco at the plate. Francisco overall hitting .246 with 3 homers and 15 runs batted in. He's got a little Run DMC look going on the video board right now, Wheels.
You know that who that is?
I think so. That's kind of funny.
Oh, there's some good ones. So some of the previews of those, they're entertaining.
See Francisco's numbers against Saunders. The infield is back with the exception of Reynolds, the third baseman. I guess you could say LaRoche, the first baseman. He'll come home if the ball's hit to him, too.
Right, if it's hit hard at him, he'll come home. Because they probably, I don't know whether they go on contact or not. Phillies don't do that a whole lot. But the middle of the diamond's wide open for a 1-0 game.
2-0 the count to Francisco. And he lays off, and that's a strike. Good luck at McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contest. It is June McGrath of Cannes, Pennsylvania. If the Phillies hit a home run in this ball game, then June will win $200. In the dirt, and it's 3-1. Did I mispronounce that, Wheels? Seacane?
Seacane, right. It's a Delaware County community.
I'm sorry.
Old Delco guy, so I know that.
Ryan Howard waits on deck. 3-2 the count now to Francisco.
If you watch Saunders right now, and he doesn't have that swing and a miss stuff. You know, like Kendrick a little bit that way. You know, he's a finesse guy. He can hit his spots, change his speeds, get you off balance. And, you know, he's trying for a strikeout here. That's not his thing.
Oh, they've got one. He did. Francisco is down on strikes as Everett says he went around. 2 outs.
Chased a high fastball after all that stuff down. And like I said, he's not a guy that's going to strike you out, you know, but he got him to chase.
Well, Ben thought he held up on that swing. It was close. Mike Everett didn't ask for any help. He just decided on his own. Laughter from the crowd because Ryan Howard steps to the plate in the theme music of the TV show The A-Team. And well, he looks like BA up on the board.
That picture is in the Daily News today.
Ryan takes a fastball for a strike.
That's a good one.
There you go. That is fitting.
They're enjoying that too.
Yeah. There was a smile on Jimmy's face a moment ago. 1-1 the count.
I think Ryan Howard had to probably take a little peek at it himself. I'm sure somebody had to show him that today because it was in the paper.
In the dirt, here comes Polanco. It squirts away. The slide. He's out. They say that Montero got the tag. And Polanco is retired. And so is the side here in the bottom of the first. Placido Polanco took a chance on that ball, and it didn't go too far away of Miguel Montero. He kept his composure, got back to the dish. There's the final out. The Phillies with 1 hit in the inning. Mark Reynolds takes a fastball to start the top of the second, so it's no balls and 1 strike. He took it for a strike. Reynolds hitting in the number 6 spot for the Diamondbacks tonight. And quickly the 0-1 from Kendrick. Just off the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. But Tom Kendrick is warming up very fast tonight. He's getting it and going.
Well, they like that with him when he works fast.
Yeah, tempo is always a big thing that Charlie talks about with him.
Right. You know, when he gets in the stretch, sometimes when men get on base, he really slows things up. And they think he's much better when he works fast, like most pitchers are. And his defense is a little better behind him, too, normally when you work fast.
Yeah, Reynolds just stepped out just to slow him down a little bit. In the dirt, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Kyle overall with 30 wins as a member of the Phillies, and you know that's taken into account the fact that he missed most of last year with the big club. He was down in the minor leagues, but his winning percentage is the best among Phillies pitchers since 2007. 3-2. His win total is third most behind Jamie Moyer and Cole Hamels. But now in a very tough spot with the count 3-2 to a home run hitter. And ball 4. Second walk issued by Kyle tonight. Well, those new look Houston Astros, which will include Jay Happ, will be in town Monday, August 23rd at 7:05. It's a 4-game series that includes a Citizens Bank Roy Halladay Pride of the Phillies print on a Citizens Bank Business Person Special on the 26th of August. Get your tickets by going to Phillies.com. And some folks got the memo. Yeah, to dress in your 80s garb tonight.
That's an 80s look right there.
Sure is. Here's Stephen Drew. And he bunts at the ball and misses. It's 0-1.
He's got a chance to say goodbye to Jay Happ. What a class guy. And he said, you know, good luck. He says, I'll see you in a few weeks.
Yep.
And you thought about that. You know, maybe Jay Happ and Brett Myers will pitch in that series.
Well, with the addition of Roy Oswalt, obviously comes some subtractions from the Phillies organization, including the big league club, including Jay Happ, who, you know, as he left the clubhouse today, there are a lot of players who were disappointed to see him go, and Charlie was too, because let's face it, he helped them to a World Series last year.
Yeah.
Finished second in the National League and Rookie of the Year honors.
Well, Shane Victorino was saying, well, look, you can always say, look who we got traded for. You know, the first time you get traded from an organization, it's usually the toughest. You know, never. You know, I don't think players think it ever gets easy, but the first one can be a little bit of a shock because you came up in that organization, and you know you think you're going to stay there, you want to stay there. But he got traded for Roy Oswalt. That's pretty good.
Pop up right side of the infield. Ryan Howard, the first baseman, makes the call, dances right by Reynolds, and then floats into foul territory. One away. Well, speaking of Jay Happ, he met with the media earlier today.
Go to 2 World Series and win 1, and you know it is a great time to be part of the organization. That's why you know I like it here so much. But you know, another team's giving me a great chance, and I'm going to go down there and I'm going to try to do what I do. I'm not going to try to replace Roy Oswalt. I'm going to go and try to do what Jay Happ does and get where I need to be, and hopefully we can you know, have success from that.
A very smart young man, and he will make his Astros debut tomorrow against the Milwaukee Brewers. And he had one of the best quotes I think I've heard in a long time. His quote was, when asked about, you know, going right to Houston and pitching tomorrow, he said, well, baseball doesn't wait for anyone, so I have to be quick to turn the page. I thought that was really profound.
Well, as you said, he's a bright guy, you know, and one of those really good people that, you know, you're lucky enough to be around in this business, and we're all going to miss him, not only as a player, but as a person.
That could be 2. Polanco to second for 1. Valdez throws a fastball that's dropped by Ryan Howard. So they get 1, and there are 2 outs.
Yeah. Now, the umpire never called him out, but he was out. Now, you're technically not allowed to, you don't assume a double play. So there may not be an error charged here. We'll see what Jay Dunn decides to do. There it is. It's a dead double play ball. You're out of the inning. Pitcher's leading off, and that ball just hit the heel of the glove and kicked out.
It's almost as if Ryan could have decided how he wanted to catch the ball.
And handcuffed him a little bit.
Yeah.
And no error, because you don't assume a double play.
Well, they just gave an error to Ryan Howard.
What? That was the point I was making. Sometimes you can do it. You know, if it beats him by a whole lot, it's a scorer's decision. If the umpire calls him out.
So 4-6 on the putout at second. And Saunders loops one to center. Jason Worth backs up and makes the grab, and the side is retired. No runs, no hits. There was 1 Phillies error and a couple of shakes of the head from Ryan Howard about that play and, well, about those outfits as we go to the bottom of the second. And if the Phillies winning streak wasn't enough to talk about, well, Ruben Amaro Jr. gave everybody else a whole lot to talk about today as the Phillies acquired Roy Oswalt from the Houston Astros. And, boy, it seems like it's becoming old hat at this point of the year. Ruben.
Don't get used to it, my friend. I have too many sleepless nights. I can't hang.
So what's the hardest part when you're making deals with guys with contracts like this? The players involved or working out the financial ends of it?
Both. I mean, the whole in this day and age, it's not really any. No longer is it like the days when Pope and Dallas wanted to do deals. It's not talent for talent, really. I mean, you're talking about control and contract, and there's so many different elements. And not in this case, but in several cases, you're talking about certain GMs who want to win deals, and it's not about trying to do what's equitable. And I obviously have a great relationship with Ed Wade, and we felt like we had a good match, and we worked through it, and it took some time, but eventually we got to the finish line.
Well, and you also talked today about flexibility, that Roy Oswalt is kind of giving the Phillies a little flexibility with this too, because he was amenable to coming to Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I mean, for a guy who had a no trade clause, for him to come here to Philadelphia and to put himself in a position to want to win, it says a lot about the player.
Ryan Howard leads things off. Ryan was up when Placido Polanco was thrown out trying to score from third in the bottom of the first inning.
People ask us, what do you think about getting Roy Oswalt? And say Ruben I've never been around a player yet that when he was pitching that night, they said, well, I can't wait to face this guy.
Yeah, he's a guy that not too many people like to face. He's got great stuff. He's obviously had a lot of success here at Citizens Bank, and I think that's well documented. But I think that more than anything else, I mean, we were looking for pitching. We had a very, very slow start to our offense this year, and it's been a struggle up until last week or so. And I'm happy we're swinging the bats, but you win championships with pitching, and to be able to put our three guys at the top of our rotation, I'm pretty happy with where we're at.
Ruben, Roy Oswalt has great second half numbers for his career, but he also is in the limited post-game appearances he's had, because the Astros are in the post-game a lot. Good numbers, 4-0 with an ERA of 3.66. I would think that's important too.
There's no question about it. I mean, when you have guys who've been through the wars, who've been played playoff baseball, and obviously we hope that in September and hopefully in October we're in games that mean a lot. I think that means a lot. I think that you put yourself in a position to have players who have been in these situations and won't rattle, and we believe that he's one of those guys.
When you spoke with him, can you share anything with us, what you guys talked about?
I had a pretty brief conversation with him. I just told him that we were hopeful to get him, and I asked him if he was ready to pitch tomorrow for us, and he said, yeah, ready to go. So I know our man Frank Kopenbarger helped make the arrangements to get him to Washington. He's supposed to be coming in later on tonight, and he'll be prepared to pitch tomorrow. Hopefully he pitches well for us.
Well, there are 2 outs, and Cody Ransom is due up. Well, here is the deal that we talked about. Jay Happ, Anthony Gose, and Jonathan Villar will go on to Houston. Now, there's reports that Gose has been traded from the Astros to the Blue Jays, so that probably puts a little bit of a wrench in the conversations too, because they probably wanted to have that deal consummated as well. But you even talked today, you get Roy Oswalt, you lose Jay Happ and a couple of really good prospects too.
Well, there's no question. When you're trying to deal for quality players, you have to deal with quality players. And it was a very difficult decision to move Jay Happ. Jay Happ did a fine job for us last year, and he's going to be a fine major league pitcher. We just felt like this is an upgrade that was worth making the move because we're trying to win a championship. And I think I'm hopeful that obviously it turns out. Do we make all the right decisions? No, but certainly I feel like this is we have a kind of a club that and also for the fans, I think we deserve to give it a shot, and I think with this guy we do. As far as Gose and VR is concerned, Gose is an outstanding athlete. We love him, and he's certainly a guy who's got a very good chance of being a major league player. But he's a young player, and you never know what's going to happen to a prospect. And then VR, middle infielder with tremendous athleticism, who again is another solid prospect. But he's very far away. He's in Lakewood right now, and he's still learning how to play. And And again, you know, you have to give up talent to get talent, and that's what we did here.
You know, you said what a relationship you have with Ed Wade. Was it tough to get together and the players involved?
Well, Ed was he was a stickler for a couple of guys, and he was a little rough to get off some of the guys. And I think eventually, just like in any other negotiation, I mean, I think that there's some discomfort and some comfort, and you know, at the end of the day, you hope you get to hopefully at the end of the day, you get to get the right deal that everybody's happy with.
Ruben, you talked also today about, you know, the fact that Roy Halladay is here for the next several years. Cole Hamels obviously is here for the next several years. Roy Oswalt is also here in Philadelphia, at least for the next couple of years. That's important, too, to have that stability, isn't it?
Well, I think we talk about the future, and that's part of it. I mean, we talk about the future. This was not just a deal that was made for this year. I did not want to get a rental player. That's not what we're about. We wanted to get a player that we felt we'd be able to have under control, and not only that, under our terms. And he allowed us to do that. With regard to some of the money we got back, and also the fact that there was no more demands beyond what the contract already read.
How important is it right now for you to have farm system guys that the minor league people are doing their job that you can do this sort of stuff?
Can't tell you how impressed I am by what our people have done. I mean, Marty Welliver deserves a tremendous amount of respect for continuously bringing talent to our system. You see Dominic Brown, what he did last night. He was a later round draft pick, and he's got a chance to be a special player. We have other players in our system that allow us to make these moves, because we do have, in some regards, in some positions, multiples of these players, and I can't tell you how important it is for those guys to do their jobs the way they've done them, and for us to have that kind of success.
Well, the wind kept that one in the yard as Gerardo Parra makes the grab a few steps from the warning track. Ruben, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Anytime, guys.
All right.
Thanks, Ruben.
Pleasure.
Ruben Amaro, Jr., the general manager of the Philadelphia Phillies. He had a busy day. He's got a busy night ahead of him with the Phils and the Diamondbacks. Phillies.com. Go to the fans section for all the info, and please submit your answer on the subject line. Wheels, this one's right up your alley. It's about Big Ten football. Diamondbacks manager Kirk Gibson was an All-American baseball and football player at Michigan State. What position did he play for the Spartans in football? Feel good about this one?
I got to guess.
The answer will be revealed in the 7th inning.
He was very fast. He was not a defensive lineman.
He probably could have been.
Well, let's put it this way. He had that kind of mentality.
He sure did. Chris Young leads it off here at the top of the 3rd, and he takes a fastball for a strike, and it's 0-1. Young popped out to Wilson Valdez his first time up.
This guy around the Phillies for a lot of years has done so much for them in research and just, well, he's fun. Skip Clayton. Memory Lane Clayton, as Harry used to call him all the time, when he would drop all those foul balls over the press box. Well, his wife Joanne just had some surgeries, recovering right now, and we wish Joanne the best, and thanks Skip for all he's done for all of us around here for a lot of years.
When I used to cover the Phillies, when I was working for the Trenton Times back in the 90s, covered it for George King. I used to sit down in the front row, and I used to see Harry signal over to the corner of the press box, and I'm wondering, what the heck is he doing?
Unbelievable. He would give the thumbs down, and then he'd count how many, every foul ball that went up there, he'd
add 5 drops.
Yeah, another error on the lane. That was part of Harry's act when he was over there, and it was funny.
Three and 1 the count to Chris Young. There's ball 4. Third walk issued by Kyle. Oh, follow the Phillies on your iPhone, iPod Touch, BlackBerry, and Android phone. And if you do that, you can follow all the things going on in Major League Baseball and with the Phillies. Of course, the Phillies trade. You can follow what went on with the San Diego Padres, getting Miguel Tejada from the O's, having Buck Showalter be their new manager. The Rangers, who acquired Jorge Cantu from the Marlins for a couple of prospects. That's why At Bat 2010 is so important, because it leads you to all the information. And you can get it by going to Phillies.com. Again, on your iPhone, iPod Touch, Android, or BlackBerry for more details. Ryan Howard may have himself a tricky double play. He's going to need some help from his friends as Chris Young is tagged out by Kyle Kendrick. And they're 2 away. How about that?
Well, that guy's some athlete. Chris Young in between the bases. Great play by Ryan, because this ball is scalded. And all of a sudden he looked up, he was ready to throw, and Young had started back towards first because he was hoping he'd do just that he would throw down there without looking. And then they get him in the rundown, and Kyle Kendrick, pretty good athlete himself, runs in. Now, see, right here, now at this point, he started back. See, Ryan was all set to throw it, and then he looks up, and Young was on his way back to first. Then he started towards second, back to first, back to second. He got me tired.
That's a good play by Ryan. That ball got on him very quickly as he scooped it up, touched first, and it's a 3-1, 6-1. Or excuse me, 3-6-1 double play. I got that right? 3-6-1 double play. I'm getting the thumbs up from Carl Graver.
That's all you need.
There's Justin Upton. Got 2 outs. Upton walked his first time up. And over to third base. Ransom to the glove side. He's got it. And it turns out to be a relatively easy inning for Kyle Kendrick after the leadoff walk. A little defense from Ryan Howard. Maybe a souvenir for that young lady as we go to the bottom of the third. Acura Advance by Budweiser with full flavor and a crisp, clean finish. It's what we do. And by McDonald's. Introducing real fruit smoothies at McDonald's, available in 2 creamy and cool flavors. Strawberry, banana, and wild berry. Try a small for just $2.29. Only at McDonald's. I'm loving it. Bottom of the third. It's a scoreless game. That young lady's taking some photos of the video board. Or of that guy. Crockett is back.
And now Davies. and not Davy Crockett. This is the 80s, not the 50s. Said Sonny.
Sonny Crockett.
What a look.
His partner Tubbs should be around too. Wilson Valdez leads it off. Valdez is being symbolized up on the video board. That was one of my favorite shows when I was young.
Punch.
Yeah, Chips.
Here's Punch.
Yep.
Eric Estrada.
Little flare to right center field. Justin Upton into the alleyway with Chris Young, and he gives way to Young. And the way things are going for Upton, that's probably good. So 1 out. Looks like the Hot Pants girls are out there as well as Crockett, who's looks like he's apprehended somebody.
One of those old, look at those old Usherette Hot Pants uniforms. Wow. That was the 70s, 80s.
Bring back some memories, Wheels.
Oh, my. Those were the Usherettes, they were called back then. And that was the Hot Pants Patrol. It was started by Bill Giles in 1971 at the Vet, the first year. And that was back in the old go-go era. And they had the white boots. It was tacky, but effective.
It was tacky, but effective.
There they are. There's the white boots. That was back in the old Joey Heatherton days of the go-go dancers.
Kyle Kendrick stays alive, and it remains no balls and 2 strikes.
It did carry over to the 80s for a while, but you know, it was early Vet days. 71 on.
In the dirt, and it's 1-2. Kyle Kendrick, I think, is lucked out with his video board picture. I think, anyway. He's got Susan Sarandon on his shoulder.
That's Bull Durham, huh?
2-2 the count. Kyle is thankful that he didn't spend as long in the minor leagues as Kevin Costner's character did.
Yeah.
And he pulls that one toward the hole. That's going to be a base hit. 3rd hit of the year for Kendrick. And he's aboard with 1 away here in the 3rd. Oh, besides being 80s night here at the ballpark, it's also our thirst inning, and it's brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer of the thirst inning, and for many it was the official beer of the 80s.
Doesn't matter what that is.
Nope. Logo might have changed, but the taste is still the same. And he's run out, so he's going for some more. That bucket looks a little light for him.
Well, that wind is blowing in. You know, Ruben was in there last inning. You know, the ball that Ruiz hit to end the inning, that thing is crushed. And would have been a double on a normal night and maybe a home run, as you said, Tom. And so the wind is blowing straight in all of a sudden and really knocking the fly balls down.
0-1 the count to Polanco, who doubled his first time up. And that one's to shortstop. That could be 2. Drew to second for 1. An easy 6-4-3 double play. And the side is retired. So the Phillies have had a base runner in each of the first 3 innings against Joe Saunders. Nothing to show for it. We go to the 4th. The wind is blowing. No score in the game. Well, final game of this 3-game series. No scores. We go to the top of the 4th. The Fanatic with his old uniform top on. Hey, in today's tough economy, every dollar counts. That's why the Phillies buy office supplies from W.B. Mason for amazingly low prices on office supplies, furniture, cleaning supplies, kitchen snacks, and Green Mountain coffee. Who but W.B. Mason? Oh, we head to the top of the 4th. Gary Matthews joins us up here in the booth. Gary, who was part of the successful early 80s for the Phillies, taking them to the 83 World Series after being the MVP of the National League Championship Series against the Los Angeles Dodgers, sporting the old style P and the new style lid. The 80s were very good for you in Philadelphia.
Oh, absolutely. It was a great time, and getting to the World Series the first time here in Philadelphia, a lot of memories.
A lot of memories. I mean, the Phillies won their first World Championship in 1980, and then, bam, right back to the World Series in 83. Won game 1 of the series, but the Orioles wound up winning the series overall.
Yeah, Rick Dempsey was that MVP that particular year, and just was not in the cards. Just couldn't get things rolling.
Well, they got it rolling in 1980 when they beat the Royals for the World Championship.
Yeah, I came in 81.
Well, but I'm saying, though, you know, we see Roy Oswalt acquired today. And as Ruben said, for a chance to get back to and to win the World Series. So in 80, they won it. But in 83, getting back to the World Series, I mean, in baseball terms, that's pretty good to get to 2 World Series in that short a period of time.
You know what? It is good. But I think after that first year, though, that they win it, that next year, you know, their guys are a little bit more just, well, we've accomplished what we need to. I coming over, I wanted to get there almost at any cost because I had never been there before, and maybe wanting to get there worse than anyone else, but it just didn't work out. But we were in the playoffs quite a bit, and again, it's just a fun time when you're in postseason.
1-2 the count to Adam LaRoche to start the 4th, and a swing and a miss, and he's down on strikes. That's the first strikeout for Kendrick. 1 gone here in the top of the 4th. It'll bring Miguel Montero to the plate. This is a pretty good pitch from Kendrick.
Yeah, he's keeping that ball down. Look at the movement, however, on that as he takes some off on it. LaRoche thinking that was a fastball. You can tell that out in front, off balance.
Montero grounded to first to finish the first, and he's ahead 1-0. Well, Sarge, before we let this game go any farther, I want to get your take on the Roy Oswalt trade.
Well, I like that, and I like it because he's a veteran pitcher.
Little flare to left. That's going to drop in front of Ibanez and drop into fair territory. Montero's going to try for 2. The throw by Raul is in time. Boy, he really stayed with that, and so did Tim McClellan, the second base umpire.
Yeah, I got to credit Raul Ibanez in left field as that ball kicks off the railing there. Had a chance to hit the front one, but he played it just right, had his momentum going towards second base. And the reason why he got off such a good throw. Now watch how this kicks off of there. Here he comes. Look at that one step. Bam! So he throws it on the money. He's there right now, but he stays with him, and then he's off the bag here.
Yeah, Tim McClellan didn't signal that, but you're right about the momentum part by Ibanez. He did get his body going forward. And Mark Reynolds takes one low, so it wasn't the initial tag. It was the secondary tag.
Yeah, and he just got off a terrific throw. You know, when you're sliding just like that, your foot has a tendency to come right off that bag.
Down the left field line. That'll go foul, but it's a towering shot. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. I think the other thing we saw there by Polanco after Raul made that good throw is that kept the tag on him and may have nudged his momentum a little bit.
Yeah, well, they like doing that. Chase does that kind of with an Academy Award act. And you can push them kind of off because they're sliding. Their momentum is going toward left field. You just give them a little help.
2-1 the Reynolds. All right, continue about Roy Oswalt.
Well, he's a good pitcher, and obviously his record indicates how well he pitches in the second half. He's the type of pitcher that he's an intimidator, meaning that when he strikes you out, he kind of gives you that little bit of a look. He knows he can pitch, and by staying in that National League makes it even easier because he knows all of the hitters. So he should have success in coming over, and hopefully he's going to get some runs. But he's used to not getting runs, but it's all about giving the team a chance to win.
He is an ERA of 3.42, but a 6-12 record as the Astros haven't scored a whole lot of runs for him. Well, you see, he's second all-time in wins. He had a chance to become the all-time leader in wins, second in starts, tops in winning percentage, and second in strikeouts.
Yeah, pretty good resume.
And it remains 3-2 to Reynolds. Over to third base. That's a foul ball right past Joel Youngblood.
As Reynolds swings the bat real hard, almost just in case he connects. And when he does, the ball will go a long way.
A lot of foul balls tonight facing Kyle Kenrick. Swing and a foul tip into the glove of Ruiz, and the side is retired. 2 strikeouts for Kendrick in the inning. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left. We go on to the bottom of the 4th. It's the Diamondbacks nothing and the Phillies nothing. Pennsylvania Lottery benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. Must be 18 or older to play. Please play responsibly. By W.B. Mason. Who but W.B. Mason for amazingly low office product prices. And by your participating Philadelphia area Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDealer.com. Last of the 4th. Phils have had some base runners. And Raul Ibanez leads it off. Raul flying out to fairly deep left center field his first time up. But I think if the wind wasn't blowing the way it's blowing now, that ball had a chance to get over the head of Chris Young. You got Polanco over to third with less than 2 outs, but the Phillies couldn't score. In there for a strike. It's 1-2. Joe Saunders was originally a draft pick of the Phillies. He chose to go to college, though. and then was selected by the Angels. The last 2 years, he had the best winning percentage combined of any pitcher in the American League. He won 33 games and lost 14. That one's in the air to right center field. Chris Young heads on over to the alleyway and calls off Justin Upton. And there's one away. Phillies acquired Roy Oswalt today in a trade. Saunders was traded last weekend by the Angels. Brad Lidge talked about the acquisition of his former teammate.
I mean, it's got to be. If there's a better 1-2-3 than this, I'd want to see it. Like I said, when Roy is pitching in front of these big crowds, and hopefully, we're fortunate enough to make the postseason again, I think we're going to see a pretty amazing pitcher.
Now, Brad, of course, was the teammate of Roy Oswalt when they both took the Astros to the World Series and lost to the White Sox. So again, Roy Oswalt will start tomorrow for the Phillies against the Washington Nationals against Craig Stammen. Jay Happ will start tomorrow for the Astros against the Brewers. Fastball in there for a strike. It's 2-1, and there's Brad Lidge. And as we said, everybody was very happy that the Phillies acquired Roy Oswalt, but the players were also feeling bad that they had to say goodbye to Jay Happ.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he was feeling bad himself. Usually the first time you're traded, it's almost like having a broken heart, if you will. I mean, you just don't understand why you're not wanted. And you realize afterwards that it is a business after you get through some of the emotion of being traded. And a lot of times it'll make you even a better player, because then you're out to show that organization that they made a mistake. And I'm sure he's going to be up to the task of trying to do just that.
Francisco pulls it foul, and it remains 3 balls and 2 strikes to him.
Getting used to new teammates at this particular juncture. But the one thing about Major League Baseball, I mean, the fraternity is such that when you come in, they welcome you with open arms.
Well, Sarge, you were, and I could be wrong about this, you were never traded during the season, were you? You were traded during the offseason.
The one time with the Cubs during the course of the year, and going over to Seattle.
Seattle, right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, bad luck again, because I had the opportunity to go to Minnesota. They wanted all that year.
Towards shortstop, Drew comes in front of it. Francisco's retired. There's 2 outs. Well, 24/7 Phillies fans, get more of Phillies insider Jim Salisbury. Get the latest scoop on all the Phils rumors as the trade deadline approaches on CSNPhilly.com. Experience counts. That's Phillies insider Jim Salisbury. Only on CSNPhilly.com. And if you follow Jim today, Jim was on top of the story for the entire day. Roy Story 2. Well, there are 2 Roys now on the rotation, so that is appropriate. Foul ball by Ryan Howard. How long, Sarge, did it take you to get over the trade? I mean, was there a day? I mean, Roy Halladay had the off season and a new contract with the Phillies, to break away from the Blue Jays. But was there a day? Was it 2 days? Was it 2 weeks?
Well, I had the opportunity as a hard ground ball there to second base. I have to finish this next part of the inning, but and we'll get into that.
All right, nothing across for the Phillies. We go to the 5th. That's right, it's retro night here at the ballpark. It's a scoreless game. Wrapping up this homestand. They've won all 6 games so far this homestand, 7 straight. And Stephen Drew leads off the 5th. And Kendrick delivers the pitch high. It's 1-0. Bottom third of the Diamondbacks order. Drew popped out into foul territory to Ryan Howard his first time up. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. A busy day around the ballpark today. And it's getting busier around Major League Baseball. A couple of other trades have already been announced besides the Roy Oswalt deal. Swing and a miss. It's 1-2. And Sarge, you were talking about how you felt and how long it took you to get over it, like Jorge Cantu and Jay Happ and Roy Oswalt will have to deal with over the next couple of days.
Yeah, well, I don't think it'll be a problem at all for Roy Oswalt just because of the team he's going to. Jay Happ a little bit different because of the team he's going to. Well, he's going from a team that had a good chance to get back to postseason, and let's face it, Houston is going nowhere fast. But he still has a chance and Happ to make an impact, and Oswalt even more so.
In the air to right center field. That's playable for Francisco. And he makes the catch, and there's 1 away. Well, the Dodgers and the Padres are playing right now as the Phillies and the Diamondbacks go at it here. And the Dodgers will be here in Philadelphia where the Phillies return home. Part of that homestand that includes the Mets. Tuesday, August 10th at 7:05 is when it starts off. It's a 3-game series. Get your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. With 1 out, Gerardo Parra is the batter. Reached on a fielder's choice his first time up. I guess Jay Happ is feeling the same way that Joe Saunders, who's starting tonight for the Diamondbacks, who's in the on-deck circle, how he felt the other day when the Angels traded him to Arizona.
It's just not a good feeling, especially if you're going to a club that doesn't have a chance to get to postseason. It kind of gives if you have a chance when you go in there, you just get a whole new shot in your arm, so to speak. You're ready to go. You're pretty excited about trying to contribute, especially if you're a good player, the way that Roy is in coming and starting.
Off the end of the bat, a flare into foul territory down the left field line. Long run for Valdez and Ransom makes the catch a few steps out to the warning track. That's good play.
That sure is. He's a good athlete.
And there are 2 outs, and here is Saunders.
Here it is again. Valdez was over as well. Made an easy play out of it. That wind is blowing that ball back toward the field, so it did make it an easy play. J-Roll gets a little laugh there with Charlie.
Told Charlie I could have made that play. Maybe tomorrow, J-Roll, maybe tomorrow.
Says he's walking better.
Yeah, he took BP today, which is a good sign. Also took some ground balls at shortstop. Saunders popped out to center his first time up. And it's 0-2. I think we saw even last year when Cliff Lee came over from the Indians, who were really going nowhere, coming to Philadelphia, energized him, energized the ball club, energized the postseason.
Oh yeah, this Cliff Lee guy, he's a true leader. You know, very difficult for a pitcher to be able to lead, and he was a guy that was vocal, but not only that, he showed you what he was all about when he got the ball.
Well, and you hope that Roy Oswalt could do the same thing.
Oh, he's the same kind of. Oh, there's no doubt about that. This guy's healthy. He's going to win. It's just bottom line. He's just too good.
Saunders tries to check his swing. He went around. That's the 3rd strikeout for Kyle Kendrick. A 1-2-3. 5th inning. First 1-2-3 inning for Kyle Kendrick. We go to the bottom of the 5th here at Citizens Bank Park. Washington this weekend, and then the Nationals come to Philadelphia the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. 3-game series. The final game is a 1:35 start here at the ballpark. It's the ShopRite Cole Havel's Lunch Back Cooler. Free to fans 14 and under. Get your tickets now by logging on to Phillies.com. Phillies won't see Steven Strasburg this weekend. He's been placed on the disabled list. Maybe they'll see him when the Phillies and the Nationals face each other at the end of August. We'll see. Good thing is you may see it. I mean, at any given time in a 3-game series, you could see Oswalt, Hamels, Halladay. How about that?
Oh, it doesn't get any better than that. Brad Lidge talked about the same thing. And, you know, when the opposition knows that they have to face those kind of starters, they have a whole different approach.
Here's Jason Worth to lead off the 5th. Joe Saunders delivers. There's a looper down the left field line. That is hooking foul. On a still night, I don't know if that would have been fair or not, but you know the wind has caught some balls tonight, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, though. He hooked that ball toward the end of the bat. Looked like it was kind of off speed, and you'll do that when you're out in front of a ball, end up pulling it a little bit more.
Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. It's a tough pitch, and it's 1-2. Jason has been on some kind of run. 11 for his last 22. As you said before, the Marlins defeated the Giants. It's 5-0 was the final on the Toyota Major League scoreboard. Anibal Sanchez allowed just 1 hit.
Wow.
And even though Jason's been on a heck of a run, he's been struck out twice tonight. And there's 1 away.
No, this is not a pitcher, really, that should be striking him out without him having good, healthy cuts. Pretty good pitch, however. That's set up by that ball that was on the inside. Then he throws on the outside. This guy doesn't have enough, though, to be able to get balls by him.
Down and away, 2 balls and no strikes to Cody Ransom. Ransom singled his first time up. Was picked off first, but the throw from LaRoche was wide of second, so he got a stolen base out of it. Pulled right past Tim McClellan. And Ransom's aboard with a 1-out single. Tim McClellan does not move that quickly behind the plate when he's calling balls and strikes. He didn't really move that quickly out of the way of that line drive from Cody Ransom either.
Yeah, kind of had his eye on it, though. Cody smokes this ball. When he's in that hitting position, he drives the ball. There's Tim as he just kind of swipes that ball or steps that ball a little.
So Ransom's second 2-hit game of the season. And here's Carlos Ruiz, who hit it a ton his first time up, but he was retired by Parra a few steps from the warning track. And a fastball in there for a strike. Line drive, base hit it to left field. That one's going to scoot to the corner and scoot to the wall. Ransom's at third. He's being waved home. Parra misplayed it, and the Phillies will have the lead. It's an RBI double by Carlos Ruiz. Man is in fuego against the Diamondbacks.
Well, I tell you what, though, good to have speed on the bases. As Cody Ransom shows you his speed there, this ball is just hammered as he hits that ball into left field. Now, when that ball kicks off with that great call, though, Tom, he ended up actually misplaying it. Parra, you see how it went through his legs? Made it easy for Sam Palazzo, third base coach, to send him in.
I think he was going to hold him, Sarge.
He might have, though, if he picks that ball clean, and that's why he's looking all the way and bringing the runner. That's why the runner has to continue to go, not look at the play, read it through your third base coach. He'll tell you yes or no, and that turned out being just a heck of a play.
18th RBI of the year for Ruiz. He's now 7 for 16 on this homestand. And a foul ball by Valdez, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
See Sam there, as he's looking down there in the corner, it's just made it easy. He made it without even sliding.
Now a chance to tack on here.
Thought Parra was really too close to the fence after he ended up going there. You got to be able to read it. Oh, that's a good fastball. 93.
Kind of jumped at him.
Whew, where'd he get that from?
He brought it with him from Anaheim. Joe Saunders was saying that when Mike Scioscia called him into his office before the trade, little looper toward right, that's going to drop in front of Justin Upton. Ruiz will be held at third, and it's first and third now for the Phillies with 1 out. Just couldn't take a chance. Upton was playing so shallow and right. Third straight hit. And Kendrick will probably be asked to bunt. Valdez up to second.
Well, here's a ball that's a little bit off speed there. Looks like a breaking ball. Valdez just trying to put that ball in play.
I was saying that Saunders thought that when he was called into Mike Scioscia's office last weekend, he thought Mike Scioscia was going to tell him that he was going to start on 3 days rest, and he was open for that. And when he walked in, he saw Tony Regans, who's the GM of the Angels. He thought, uh-oh, this can't be good. And that's what he was told. He was traded for Dan Herron. And he was pretty emotional about it.
Well, it's leaving not only a pretty good team, also, a nice city.
Nice bunt. Back to the mound. Saunders has a play at first. That's it. A sacrifice that's successful. 1-4 on the putout. So the Phillies have 2 in scoring position for the top of the order. Hey, after the game, former Phillies closer Ricky Bottalico breaks down all the action from tonight's ball game and provides insight found nowhere else. Phillies postgame live presented by Sloan Toyota. Following the game right here on the Comcast Sports Set. I would think Ricky Bottalico will have some real good insight on the Roy Oswalt trade.
Definitely.
Pitcher speaking on behalf of a pitcher.
Well, there's no doubt about it. The guy can pitch, and he is an intimidator. It goes right at you. Various speeds on the curveball. We've seen it at 68. Getting that fastball in the 90s.
Towards shortstop, Stephen Drew has got a play on it, and the side is retired. But the Phillies draw first. They get an RBI double off the bat of Carlos Ruiz. They strand a couple in scoring position. We go to the 6th. The Phillies have the lead. here in Philadelphia. A little breakdancing going on down on the field. Boy, those kids were very talented, but there's no doubt the Fanatic wanted to get involved. And whoop.
How about that gold chain?
Oh, yeah. Surprised it didn't weigh him down. To get a little help from his friends. Those youngsters from the city of Philadelphia, boy, they were really impressive with the breakdancing that they were doing before the Fanatic put on his display. 80s night here at the ballpark.
Oh, boy.
And we go to the 6th. Chris Young is the batter. And it's 0-1. We just saw Sam Bertini there, one of the fine cameramen that we see throughout the ballpark. He had a night off, and he was explaining to his son that, that's breakdancing. That's what we used to do. That's the style of dancing that we used to do back in the 80s.
You do any of that?
No. There's Sam.
You do a little of that?
Sarge, I was built more for comfort than for breakdancing.
Well, I mean, the different sized people are out there breakdancing.
That's true. You see the Fanatic out there?
That's right.
That's what I would have looked like. What a way here in the 6th. Well, Kyle Kendrick is retired. The Diamondbacks in order one time today, officially. He's had to face the minimum 2 other times, but every time the Phillies retire, the opposing team in order. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by the Xfinity Triple Play, your complete lineup for digital TV, high-speed internet, and home phone. Kelly Johnson takes one for a strike. It's 0-1. Johnson singled. He also hit into a double play his last time up. And it's 0-2.
Well, he's doing just a great job of not keeping balls out over the middle of the plate. Seems to be pitching a little bit more tonight, meaning that one pitch setting up the other. In and out, up and down.
Well, we show the fans where they don't make the catches. Look at Kelly Johnson's ground ball. Easy play. Routine hop. Room service hop for Andy Rabel. Oh, Andy.
Surprised he didn't get booed.
He may have by the EMTs that were sitting in the dugout next to him. 2 away here in the 6th. It is only fair, Andy, that we show the fans.
Oh, yeah.
The usually sure-handed Andy Rabel. Go ahead, Sarge, say it.
He's got some big balls, too, though. He does.
Andy, Sarge says you have big paws.
Used to tell guys you got to get the goat head out of that glove when it hits your hands, and falls right on the ground. That's similar.
There's Justin Upton who takes the pitch down and away.
Used to do that to Carlos Delgado all the time, where balls would just hit his glove and just fall right on the ground.
That's pretty good. You're comparing Andy Rabel, a fine human being, by the way, to Carlos Delgado.
Oh, we're talking about the hands. I mean,
now Andy can play. Let's watch this. Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. Atta boy.
Oh boy. I tell you what. Now that's impressive. That's impressive.
1-2 the count to Justin Upton.
Actually, one hand that. Little top spin. I never like that. Well, gotta have those fans around you just to cool you off. I have a couple of them, by the way, Tom. We'll be going to Florida.
I think you should buy some bigger ones for Florida, though.
Boy, it's just, you know what? Almost doesn't matter what you have there. You're just gonna start to just sweat.
And a called strike 3 right on the outside part of the plate. Back-to-back 1-2-3 innings for Kyle Kendrick, who is starting to settle in. He retires the side in order. The wave is going on. They started that in the 80s, didn't they? Bottom of the 6th inning we go after this strikeout from Kyle Kendrick, and the Phillies have the lead. Grab your bag, it's on. By Suzuki and the new Kazashi midsize sports sedan. Suzuki, the power of engineering. And by Xfinity, it's TV, phone, and internet reinvented from Comcast. Last of the 6th, Raul Ibanez leads it off against Joe Saunders. Phillies lead it 1-0. Raul was flied out to center both times tonight, so he's 0 for 2. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Raul batting second tonight, most likely back to the 3-hole tomorrow. And most likely Charlie Manuel will have Dominic Brown back in the lineup tomorrow against Craig Stammen.
Yeah, just splitting up the left-handers together. And this Saunders, I mean, he can pitch. Obviously, he's in and out. Not a real hard thrower, but he can reach back. Saw him throwing 93. It should take a look at Mr. Dominic Brown. He's got a little flair to him, by the way.
Charisma is what Charlie Manuel says. In the air to right center field, a line drive off the bat of Ibanez. That one's deep, and that one is gone! Ibanez with his 9th home run of the year, and the Phillies lead it 2-0. That young lady's got the ball, and she's got herself some tears. But that baseball may make her feel a little bit better. Wow. It certainly makes Raul Ibanez feel better.
Yeah, that's just priceless there.
And that home run makes a winner of June McGrath. She's won $200 courtesy of the McDonald's home run jackpot.
Hey, that ball just smoked as the ball gets up and out of here. And just a great spot.
Saw the backside of that video, that young lady jumping up with her arms high in the air. She must have picked that ball up as it was rolling along the aisleway. And there's a base hit for Ben Francisco. Hit him a mile, hit him a quarter of a mile. And the Phillies have back-to-back hits.
Well, Francisco or any of the hitters, you'll take them any way you can get them. Obviously, you like it going out of the ballpark, but even if you're jammed and or hit one off the end of the bat, you'll take it. See the ball going into the stands there. Raul Ibanez actually hit that, and they're starting to scramble and fight for that ball. And look who comes up with it, the happiest person there.
That's great.
Oh, priceless. Oh, she just can't take it.
Now she takes that ball with the help of the usher, where she'll eventually have the opportunity to get it signed by Raul. Ryan tried to check his swing. One of the great programs they have here at the ballpark. One of the Phillies hits a home run. And get it signed by the Philly to hit that home run.
It's pretty nice to be able to have that option.
Ryan has grounded out twice tonight. And he's down to the count 0-2.
Borderline looked to be a little bit high. I'm sure that's what Ryan's thinking about. Been calling, though, the high strike tonight.
In the dirt, Francisco started, but Montero made a nice play, keeping that in the area.
That great move on his part as he just tries to block it. And check this out. As he just tries to just block it and making sure it didn't get it away from him. Didn't try and catch it. Just wanted to keep that ball in front of him.
1-2 the count to Howard. Opposite Webb. Down the left field line. Fair or foul? It's a foul ball. That would have scored a run.
Oh.
Well, speaking of the 80s, in between innings, that's what was going on the video board. Some great footage of El Sargento in action at the old vet. Look at this play. That hurt at all?
Oh, well, they were saying that I couldn't play defense and so on. But, you know, it seems like you're a little bit thinner back then. I've had a few more steaks, though. Better food I've been eating here as of late.
I think you're as healthy as could be. As Francisco's picked off, LaRoche's throw is... well, it's close to the bag, but it's dropped by Stephen Drew. And the Diamondbacks just are not playing good baseball. And the Phillies are taking advantage of it.
Sure, Saunders is looking at that and saying, boy, that's not the way we played over there in L.A. I'll take a look at this. Pretty good throw, though, by LaRoche this time. Didn't know exactly what guy was going to take the throw there. See Reynolds having the state of mind to get ready to get up to go to third. No one was covering that.
2-2 the count to Howard. Second guy tonight that Saunders had picked off, but the second guy to reach second. It's a stolen base for Francisco.
See, and we talk about that. Hard to judge pitching if you don't have good defense. You know, the pitchers start throwing more pitches because of errors.
Now, Reynolds, the third baseman, was in the neighborhood because of the shift for Ryan Howard. He probably thought, well, that's my ball. But Drew would normally be the guy that takes that throw, and I think they just crossed signals there.
Yeah, didn't have communication on it, and that should be done before the play. Hey, if it gets picked off, I'll take the throw. But either one of the guys, quite honestly, could have made that play. Now take a look at this play here. Both the players come right to the bag. You know, and again, that has to be communicated before that play even develops. Who's going to take the throw?
Swing and a miss. The bat goes flying. 1 out. Where the bat landed up. Past the camera well. Long run for Rob, the bat boy.
Choose an off-speed pitch out in front when you throw the bat like a helicopter. Look at this. Yep, a little bit out front. But you see what he was trying to do? He was actually trying to pull that ball over to the other side, to the right side. Now, that's okay maybe with one strike, but again, he can just go on and just hit the ball, hit that ball hard, and get over on a deep fly ball.
Here's Jason Worth. And a swing and a miss by Jason. It's 0-1. Jason struck out twice tonight. Saunders in his last outing for the Angels went 7 innings. He allowed just 1 run against the Rangers through 126 pitches. So he said he was 6-10 when the trade took place for a team that had been teetering toward the top of the American League West for most of the first half. And he said the problem was that he got off to such a slow start, which is not usually the case with him. He's usually a quick starter. And so getting off to that slow start, he just couldn't round himself into form, except for the last couple weeks. Well, you see his career numbers. That's a lot of wins.
Yeah. Sure is.
It's kind of funky. You can see that they have trouble picking the ball up.
I was going to say exactly that. Well, look at the comparison with the pitches, 90-90 there. But it looks like Jason's not picking that ball up out of his hand the way he normally does and the way he has been over the last maybe couple of weeks or so. From the right side, a little bit easier to hit the left-handed pitchers. That's because that ball is just coming right at you. You don't have to worry about that anyone stepping in the bucket from the right side.
Opposite way down the right field line. That was slice foul. Another foul ball, and the count remains 1-2. I think one of the impressive things about Jason Worth's run lately, the fact that he's 11 for his last 24, but his on-base percentage is nearly 600 during that span.
Yeah, I'll get that because he gets walks, too.
He loops that one to right field. Francisco didn't read it right away. Upton makes the catch, but Francisco gets back to second. And there are 2 away. A reminder that the Phillies and the American Red Cross will host a blood drive Saturday, August 14th from 6 a.m. until 2 p.m. All donors will receive a special edition Chase Utley t-shirt and the opportunity to have their photo taken with the 2008 World Championship and 2009 National League Championship trophies. The Fanatic will be there. The Philly Ball Girls will be there. Get more information by calling 1-800-RED-CROSS or by going to redcross.org/Phillies. With 2 away, Cody Ransom will bat. He's 2 for 2 today.
A pretty good swing there. Fastball 92. It's a ball there that he can definitely handle. Seen him hit that ball out of here just a little bit quicker on that fastball. That would be middle in.
Inside and low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Phillies with 8 hits tonight. They've scored just the 2 runs, but they have a 2-0 lead. Swing and a miss. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cody Ransom just asked if that was a strike, and he does have a tendency to get a buffet of off-speed pitches.
Yeah, what didn't have good balance for me on that one, he did on the fastball that was up and in, and that's a pitch. He was in kind of a pull mode, and the ball was away. If you can, you want to try and hit that ball the opposite way.
Lays off, and it's a little low, 3-2. Towering pop-up foul over near the tarp. Reynolds, does he have room near the crowd? Nope, he runs out of room. It was left for somebody in that pile to come out with it. And it remains 3-2 to Cody Ransom. 99 pitches now for Saunders.
Hey, this begins to be a big ball game because Atlanta losing earlier tonight. Well, to pick up these games the way that they have in a short amount of time, leaping is just great.
Broke his bat, slow roller to short. Drew has it, has to hurry, does, and gets Ransom. And the side is retired. The Phillies tack on another one on a home run by Raul Ibanez. That's right, remember the 80s. Number 34 is in the house, everybody, as we go to the 7th. Well, top of the 7th inning, the Phillies lead it 2-0. Retro night. It's 80s retro night here at the ballpark. Adam LaRoche's dad played in the 80s. Dave LaRoche. He was a pretty good pitcher, too. And he leads off the top of the 7th. Adam LaRoche was a pretty good pitcher. In fact, was still pitching while he was with the Braves. Get the ball and go into the bullpen and start firing. He said he threw in the low 90s at one point.
And Dave LaRoche, a left-handed pitcher. Is that
the lob?
Yeah,
he used to throw that lobbing pitch, that lob pitch. Change up in there for strike 2. It's 1-2.
The American League, for the most part, really didn't see him all that much.
Now, you could not do that in the 80s.
No.
Couldn't bring your computer, couldn't fire it up.
No, if you were on TV in the 80s, you had to wait till you got home till somebody told you you'd been on.
And a call, strike 3 at the knees on the outside corner. Another strikeout for Kendrick. He's dealing right now.
He's done a great job of recovering from a shaky 2 innings. Whoop.
Chad Durbin in the pen.
Here it is that he thinks it's low, and still talking to Mike Everett right now about it. Is Andy LaRoche. Let's check out the summary from Verizon Wireless. Carlos Ruiz knocked in Cody Ransom with that RBI double. Kyle, as we mentioned, has really settled down since the first couple innings. Cody's had a good ball game, and Raul Ibanez, what a trolley wire that was he hit out of here.
Absolutely.
That made a good sound.
And again, you know, the way the wind has been blowing, a lot of balls to the outfield, you weren't sure if it was going to be able to get through that wind. Yeah. But because he kept it so low, he was able to get it through that wind.
Right. Those are kind of, it didn't have a chance to get knocked down.
Montero pops it up foul, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
A great job by Sam Perlaza when Ruiz hit that double down there. He saw Parra tried to barehand that ball coming off the wall. And when he bobbled, he had him coming all the way. And to Ransom's credit, he just kept coming, and that's what you're supposed to do. Don't coach. Let the coach stop you. If he had started to shut it down there, he can't score. Even when that ball got away from Parra, because he had already shut it down, he can't start it up again. So that was a real good job of him running the bases and Sam doing his job. Good third base coach.
Opposite way, and it remains 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You see that a lot of times, guys going into third base on plays. You know, they figure they know what's going to happen out there, and they just shut it down between second and third, think, well, I can't score on this. And then when something happens, it's too late.
Another pop-up foul. Kyle threw 30 pitches in the first inning. The fact that he is about to throw the 100th pitch of the night here in the 7th, that's part of the storyline. And he's been able to last this long.
Absolutely. That's what I was saying. Those first 2 innings that he survived, because he was struggling with his location in innings 1 and 2 tonight. Especially, as you said, Tom, the first inning with the 30 pitches.
In the air to right field, towering shot. Can it get through the wind? Francisco is back. It does. A home run for Montero. It's his 3rd of the year, and this is now a 1-run game.
Oh, that thing was crushed. And the wind kept trying to knock it down. But it's a solo home run. Still have a 1-run lead. Here it is. Montero has some power, and he got that one way up in the air. You know, he knows he hit it hard enough for it to be a home run, but is it tonight? And it turned out to be, yep, it is.
It was turning Francisco every which way, too.
Oh, yeah.
Here's Reynolds. That was Montero's first homer, by the way, in over a month. His last one was the 19th of June. Toward right center field. Worth is over. He's got to play that one in a hop. It does. And a base hit for Reynolds.
And that may be it for Kyle Kemper.
Well, these lucky fans of tonight's Citizens 7, they will each receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com. Well, here comes Charlie Manuel. Kyle's just rubbing up the ball, hoping that Charlie doesn't make the signal to the pen. He sees Chad Durbin loosen it up, and there is the call to the bullpen. So Kyle's night is done after 6 1/3. And he will leave with the lead, but his responsibility is the runner at first. So he can't lose it, but he can win it. Chad Durbin will be on when we return to Philadelphia. Strasburg pitching on Sunday. He's on the DL. The story now is that Roy Oswalt will make his Philly debut tomorrow at 7 against the Washington Nationals. That's right, Roy Story 2. Roy Oswalt will join Roy Halladay in this Phillies rotation. And what a rotation it has become. And a pretty good shot in the arm tonight by Kyle Kendrick to go 6 1/3. He's allowed a run on 4 hits. And the runner at first is his responsibility. Kyle will hand things over to Chad Durbin and hope that Chad and the rest of the bullpen can get the final 8 outs in this game. 36th ball game for Chad. 2-1 with a 3.07 ERA. Stephen Drew is the batter to lead to face Durbin the first time, and he delivers one outside. Drew tonight is 0 for 2. He's popped out twice, and he tries to hold his swing. They appeal. No swing, says the third base umpire, Andy Fletcher. That one's hit hard. That's a fair ball inside the bag. Shoots off the base of the wall. Francisco has it. He's going to hold Drew at first and throws behind him. And the Diamondbacks have runners on first and third now with 1 out.
Has a great bounce for the Phillies there because that had a heck of a chance to be second and third. 1 out. Ryan just can't quite get to it. That ball was hit hard and hooking. Hits the corner of the cement down there. And now comes right to Ben Francisco, and he sees Drew take that big turn, throws in behind him.
Well, now with 1 away, here's Parra. Parra is 0 for 2. Phillies a play for 2 as Durbin fakes to third, looks to first.
And they have not shown a pinch hitter for Saunders yet, but I think they'll hit for him. And, unless they get something here that they really like offensively out of the 8-hole hitter. They just got a right-hander and a left-hander.
Broke his bat. Roller towards second. Polanco has it. There's one. Can Valdez get the throw there? In time he does. 4-6-3. How about that? Reynolds was already across the plate when the throw arrived at Ryan Howard, but no matter. Quick release from Wilson Valdez and Kyle Kendrick. He's loving it. A little bit of defense from the Phillies. Some flying wood chips as well. 4-6-3 to finish the 7th. Football player at Michigan State. Wheels, what position did Gibson play for the Spartans in football?
Well, you look at him, you think he'd have to be a linebacker, but you'd be wrong. He was a wideout, a wide receiver.
And you say that with such conviction.
Oh, he was.
And you are correct.
Hey, Kirk Gibson could fly.
7th round pick of the St. Louis Football Cardinals. Played from 75 to 78 for the Spartans. He could fly, and he probably beat you up, too, when he caught the ball.
Tough guy.
Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize packet. Thanks for playing Dodge Stump the Fans.
He's trying to be one of the few wideouts that try to run over people.
Carlos Ruiz lifts one to right center field. That's carrying pretty well. Young is on the run, and he makes the catch. Glided right under it. And one away here in the 7th. Well, who knows if Kirk Gibson will remain the manager of the Arizona Diamondbacks once the season comes to a close. But he was one heck of a ball player. In fact, he was, if there was ever somebody that could provide the flair of the dramatic, he was the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. 255 home runs, the 88 National League most valuable player. But what a home run he hit in the 88 World Series, where he could barely walk against Dennis Eckersley against the Oakland A's.
Yep, limped around the bases. That's such a famous home run, of course. And yeah, he was a good player. He played at a different level.
How about even 84 against the Padres when he was playing for the Tigers in the World Series against Goose Gossage?
Well, that's when he was that's when he was Kirk Gibson. You know, that's when those were his best years. By the time he came over to the National League, he was beaten up pretty good. But in the American League with Detroit, he was some player.
You see him now without the goatee. You wonder, is that the guy? As Valdez loops one to left center. And Valdez, a wide turner on first. And that's his second hit of the night. And I wonder what the reaction is going to be to this guy right now.
Pretty good. He may see his first left-hander.
Dominic Brown to pinch hit. Standing ovation from this sold-out crowd. The 91st consecutive sellout for the Phillies. Dominic Brown, who kind of exploded onto the scene last night, was 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored and 2 RBIs, and we saw every facet of his game last night.
Yeah, I thought he might see his first left-hander out of the bullpen, but Saunders is still around. So, you know, the Phillies have a left-handed hitting bench here tonight, with the exception of Jimmy Rollins, a switch hitter. And here's the double he hit last night in his first major league at bat. A slider, whack, right off the top of the wall.
In the air to left field, towering shot. He stayed in there against Saunders. And it's a short left, and Parra makes the catch. So 2 outs.
Brian Madsen up in the bullpen to pitch the 8th.
So Saunders is 1 out away from getting through the 7th. There's Madsen. Both Madsen and Lidge are available tonight. Placido Polanco is 1 for 3.
Saunders had a couple guys picked off tonight, and they just kept on going down to second and made it.
Low, and it's 1 ball and no strikes to Polanco. Softly hits a shortstop. Drew gobbles it up, and the side is retired. The Phillies, no runs, 1 hit. 1 man left here in the 7th. We go to the 8th, and the Phillies hanging on to a 1-run lead. News by Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF now. By Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on. And by Toyota. There are many reasons to buy a Toyota, and now's the perfect time to get yours during Toyota's National Clearance Event. Oh, we go to the 8th. It's 2-1 Phillies. It's 1980s retro night here at the ballpark, and you can't have the 80s with the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Fanatic trying to impersonate Michael Jackson. He's going to hurt himself if he tries to do that.
Guy's pretty good, whoever he is. They're really
the Fanatic, very eerie.
Yeah, that's right on.
Had some breakdancing earlier tonight. Ooh, the Fanatic is a jack of all trades. Ryan Matson takes over, as we said, for Chad Durbin. 19th game for Matson, 3-1, 5.19 earned run average. And he will face Augie Ojeda, who will pinch hit for Joe Saunders. And Ojeda swing and a miss. Ojeda hitting 173 for the Diamondbacks this year.
Great double play to end last inning. Wilson Valdez made an amazing throw. You know, just using his upper body basically to get that much on the throw. I think there was a chance in the world for that to be a double play.
Now, when I left the bat, I thought, all right, they'll get it out at second. It's going to be tie, and the Phillies are going to have to do something late in this game to get another win.
But he just snapped that throw and got so much on it.
Slowly hit toward the middle. Valdez to his left. He's got it very quickly over to first. One away. Oh, the Giants finally lost today. That's important when you think about the wild card for the Phillies. And they'll be in town Tuesday, August 17th at 7:05 to start a 3-game series. Plan ahead before the summer's over and before school is upon us. Go to Phillies.com to get your tickets today.
Yeah, Fish went out there and had they split a 4-game series with him. And it was a really good 4-game series, too. So some of those games I got home late at night.
Chris Young out in front of a changeup. How about today? Anibal Sanchez, a one-hitter.
Is that right? He threw a one-hitter today? Wow. And they moved Cantu, huh?
Yeah, they did.
Not that. That's a guy that's really hurt the Phillies over the years.
The Rangers today put Ian Kinsler on the disabled list. Not that helps, but they could move Michael Young to second and put Cantu at third if they choose to. I don't know if that's what their plan is. But
yeah, well, he's really been struggling playing third base lately for the Marlins, making a lot of mistakes, a lot of errors. And Gabby Sanchez taking over as their first baseman, so he's not going to play first for them.
Ryan Howard watches that one go back into the seats, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Young.
See who their third baseman is going to be.
Well, all of the trades, including the Roy Oswalt deal to the Phillies, you can catch up on all that and everything else tonight on Sports Night. Get the Eagles information, the veterans go to work at Lehigh, and all the news Philly sports fans need to know on Toyota Sports Night tonight at 10 right here on Comcast Sportsnet.
Phillies do have J.C. Romero up, and he could be up for Kelly Johnson if Ryan can retire Young. But then again, you know, Ryan Matson can get left-handed hitters out.
Line drive caught by Wilson Valdez. That one was blistered. 2 away.
Yeah, Ryan Matson, he's one of those guys. I started to say that. I'm thinking, nah, you know, he pitches the whole inning for the most part, unless he gets in trouble. That ball is scalded. And he just wanted to make sure he took it off to the side. Man, that was hit hard.
Well, they will leave Matson in.
Yeah, he can pitch the left-handed hitters because of that changeup. That's why he's been so valuable in his Phillies career.
He got it down. It's a chopper to second. Polanco very comfortably throws him out. A 1-2-3 8th inning for Ryan Matson. He sets down the Diamondbacks in order. What a job by the bullpen. What a job by Wilson Valdez. When we return to the bottom of the 8th, Raul Ibanez will lead it off. or twitter.com/PhilaPhillies for daily status updates on everything Phillies. Well, if you were on those sites today, they were probably hopping with everything going on with the ball club. Roy Oswalt acquired from the Astros for Jay Happ and 2 minor league prospects. Aaron Heilman will start the bottom of the 8th inning for the Diamondbacks. First time we've seen Heilman in this series. He has been one of the more consistent relief pitchers for the Diamondbacks. And he's on to face Raul Ibanez, Ben Francisco, and Ryan Howard. Raul is right now the difference in this game. At least his home run is, which he belted in the 6th. That one's in the air to right field. Justin Upton heading back to the warning track, to the wall. He spun around, he leaps, and he makes the catch. I wasn't sure if that was going out of the yard, but I didn't think that Upton, the way he was playing it, was going to be in position to catch that ball.
They talk about how deep he plays, so he was able to go back, and they said he really has a lot of trouble going back on balls, and you could see that in this case right here. He's staggered all over the place going back for that, and then he athletic there. He makes the play right at the wall. I think he hit that off the end of the bat a little bit.
I thought he did
too. This will be a great shot here. See, he turned the wrong way and now jumps up, and that's the point that Mark Grace was making about the D-backs broadcaster, that he has trouble going back on the ball, and that's why he plays so deep many times.
Very talented, very athletic, and I think you saw his athleticism help him out there. 0-2 the count to Francisco, who's 1 for 3.
Well, Heilman throws a lot of changeups, especially left-handed hitters, and we certainly saw enough of him when he was with the Mets. Here's Raul, just missed one, and he had a line drive home run the time before that.
Well, J.C. Romero and not Brad Lidge warming up in the bullpen. It's Upton, LaRoche, and Montero. So a righty and 2 lefties. So maybe Matson starts the inning, and then Romero picks up from there.
That's where it's shaping up right now.
Toward third base, Reynolds waits on it, and there are 2 outs. Well, I guess it kind of makes sense now why it was Durbin that pitched the 7th with a couple left-handers due up, and not J.C. Romero, because Charlie was probably waiting for this opportunity or anticipating this opportunity. You know, Brad threw 66 pitches in a 2-day span earlier this week. So maybe Charlie thought he was available today. Maybe something changed after they threw before the ball game. 0-1 the count to Howard. A lot of times we don't know because they throw, you know, later in the afternoon. And Charlie doesn't know until he goes back into the clubhouse as he's trying to formulate his plan. That's hit hard, but Kelly Johnson playing in shallow right field throws out Ryan Howard, and it's an easy 8th inning for Aaron Heilman. Phillies are retired in order. That sets up the top of the 9th. It'll be Justin Upton ready to lead things off for the Diamondbacks. Make it 8 straight games. J.C. Romero and Brad Lidge are in the bullpen, warming up as we start the top of the 9th. And Ryan Matson will stay in the ballgame here in the top of the 9th. He's retired the 3 batters he's faced, and he'll face Justin Upton. And then the schedule hitters are Adam LaRoche and Miguel Montero, and they might be J.C. Romero's. Phillies have won 10 straight games here at home. And that's their longest winning streak at home, 16.
It's really kind of hard to figure what's going to happen right now. Because you talked about Madsen is good against left-handed hitters. And yet Romero is up. This will be one of those ones. He'll talk to Charlie later and he'll tell you what he's thinking.
0-2 the count to Justin Upton.
Now Lidge is throwing out there along with Romero.
See what Upton's done tonight, 0 for 2.
Charlie's answer sometimes is, I'm trying to win the game.
Well, again, as we mentioned, Lidge threw 66 pitches in a 2-day span, so they may want to give him another day. We'll see. Opposite way, that's going to be a base hit for Upton. It's going to skip down to the corner, and Upton can fly. Francisco's got to be careful with it because Upton already at second, and he's there standing to begin the 9th. Well, that's going to be the final batter for Ryan Matson. Charlie Manuel's already at the stairs. And Justin Upton is now hit in 14 consecutive games. So, with the left-handers due up, Adam LaRoche and Miguel Montero, Charlie's going to head out to the mound. I'm sure he's going to call for his lefty, J.C. Romero. So Matson goes an inning plus, and he allows the leadoff double here in the top of the 9th. So Mad Dog's night is done. Here comes J.C. Romero. The Phillies lead it by 1 here at the top of the 9th. On Comcast Sportsnet. By the way, Phillies coverage on Comcast Sportsnet continues tomorrow night. It's the debut of Roy Oswalt. It's the opener of a 3-game series with the Nationals. Coverage begins with Phillies pregame live at 6:30 right here on Comcast Sportsnet. There's usually a buzz from the Philly fans down in D.C. I would think there's going to be even more of a buzz tomorrow.
You bet. They
Before
want to win this game right now and go 10 games over 500, too. This is a big game.
Well, the Braves have already lost today. So have the Giants, the leaders in the wild card. Here's Adam LaRoche against J.C. Romero. First pitch is inside. 1 ball and no strikes.
Well, you win or lose games. You win or lose divisions. You get into playoffs, which you can do in the 8th and 9th inning of tight games.
36th game for Romero. An ERA of 2.78. Lefties are hitting 184 against him. And LaRoche is 0 for 3 against him lifetime. And he's come inside with the first 2 pitches. It's 2-0. Ryan Matson is looking on from the dugout. Charlie Manuel was trying to get an out from Matson here in the 9th after he retired the side in order in the 8th. But Upton led things off with a double.
Roach obviously doing everything he can to pull the ball right now. Get that tying run to third base for them. And maybe more.
See the way the infield is set up with Upton leading off, and the way the outfield is set up.
Valdez is paying attention to him back there. He's probably not going to run with nobody out. But there you go. Romero just wants to say, I know you're there.
Wins have not been easy to come by for Kirk Gibson. Swing and a miss. It's 2-2. But lately he has had a good sinking fastball to these left-handed hitters. I mean, it's been diving down on the inner half of the plate. Two the count. Right side, it's a foul ball. Line drive, that's a base hit into right field. Upton held up off second, so he's going to hold at third. And now runners on first and third with nobody out. And this situation gets dicier by the minute.
Well, that's the guy doing his job. That's what we meant about it. He's going to do everything he can to pull the ball and then maybe get more out of it, and he did. See, the thing about that fastball, that down and in fastball, that's right in the wheelhouse for a left-handed hitter. And they go back in there again, and all they got to do is drop the head on it. I guess, I don't know. Never thought that was a real good pitch in those situations late in games, especially when you're going to the guy's pull side.
Well, that pitch was left up more so than the one that he swung and missed at. And now it's runners on the corners and nobody out. It'll bring Montero to the plate. The Phillies set up for two.
Right. They'll set up for two, as you said, Tom. They'll give up a run here for 2 outs at home. You know, they can come in and hope they can win the game if they get one more out after that. But 2 outs here on a double play would be just fine.
Topper off the plate. Charging is Valdez. Bare hands, throws off balance. He got the out, but the game is tied. It's a good play by Wilson Valdez, even though the run scored. Up to second goes LaRoche. And it's a 2-2 game.
Now you have a base open, you have Reynolds up, and then you have a left-handed hitter, Stephen Drew. So they'll put Reynolds on, you would think. Well, let's see what happens here. There's that little topper. And Valdez has made a lot of really good plays tonight. Here he comes in and bare hands that one. Quick flip, got him.
Rusty Riles going to pitch run for Miguel Montero. So that means Chris Snyder's going to come on and do the catching. Brad Lidge just hanging on, waiting in the bullpen. And they will intentionally walk Mark Reynolds. And they put the double play in order with Stephen Drew, a left-handed batter, due up. So the 8th consecutive win for the Phillies is going to have to be a dramatic one, as this ball game is tied at 2 here in the top of the 9th. And there's intentional ball 4. Stephen Drew against Romero is 0 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout in his career. See, he's 1 for 3 tonight. and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Drew, kind of like his brother, is very disciplined at the plate. Looks like he's taken all the way there. Three and out. Last time the Phillies have had a 1-2-3 ninth inning save, the 4th of June.
What year was it?
And there's ball 4. So the bases are loaded. So the intentional walk is followed by the traditional walk. And Gerardo Parra will be the batter. And they'll keep Romero in the game. Rich Dubé, though, is going to come out to the mound to talk to his left-hander. They'll keep him in the game because Parra is a left-handed batter. Parra's never faced J.C. Romero. There's Brad Lidge. Aaron Heilman is in the on-deck circle, but I can't imagine he would bat. Vasquez is up and loosening for the Diamondbacks, so depending on what happens with Parra there, Lidge could still come in here in the top of the 9th.
We're playing halfway now, up at 3rd. Halfway at short, back a little bit with Polanco on the pull side.
A roller to the right side, could be 2. Polanco, there's 1. Valdez to first, in time, another 4-6-3 double play. And out of the ball game goes Parra because he just threw his helmet. Adrian Johnson wasn't taking it. Gerardo Parra thought he was safe, and then after chucking his helmet, Adrian Johnson threw him out of the ball game. The Diamondbacks do tie it up with a run here in the 9th, but another 4-6-3 lightning quick toss from Valdez gets the Phillies out of any more potential trouble here in the top of the 9th. So we go to the bottom of the 9th. Arguments abound. Phillies and the Diamondbacks tied at 2. Over the Cardinals last Thursday, and let's see if the Phillies could pull one out in their final at bat. Tied at 2 here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Aaron Heilman has had some adventurous games here in this ballpark during his career, and the Diamondbacks have had an adventurous game. So has Gerardo Parra. He's now hit into 2 double plays, and he was not too happy that he was called out on that play, and he slams his helmet. And Adrian Johnson, after seeing that, throws him out of the ballgame.
Yeah, and he says what? And you can see what happened there. He didn't say anything to him. you know, he was frustrated that he thought he was safe. He was frustrated he grounded into 2 straight double plays like that. And then you can see Kirk Gibson says to him, hey, man, hey, he was frustrated. There you go, right there. See, he's frustrated, he says. But, you know, his guy was already gone, so what are you going to do?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he did say something going past the bag, but that replay shows that he didn't say anything. He just threw his helmet.
He could have given an equipment fine there.
So a couple changes for the Diamondbacks as Jason Worth leads it off against Heilman. The new first baseman is Rusty Ryle. He came on to pitch run for Adam LaRoche. And the new left fielder is Cole Gillespie. So Gillespie takes over for Parra. 0-1 the count to Jason Worth. Hitless in 3 at-bats tonight. Inside with a changeup, it's 1-1.
That's Heilman. Fastball, changeup, and breaking ball. Here's Cole Gillespie, the left fielder now.
There's that change, and it's 1-2.
Had a little trouble with that pitch tonight. Saunders had a real good one and was giving Jason some problems with changeups.
It'll be Jason Worth, Cody Ransom, Carlos Ruiz for the Phillies. Fastball upstairs, 2-2.
Heilman can throw hard, but his fastball's always been really straight. And changeup's been his out pitch. And he does throw a slider, too.
In the dirt, 3-2.
2-2 off-speed pitcher, another changeup. So that just shows you what he thinks is his best pitch. And he throws a 2-2 changeup because when you throw 2-2, you can't be afraid to throw 3-2.
Greg Dobbs lurking. Left-handed bat off the bench for Charlie Manuel. 3-2 the count to Worth. Threw another changeup, as Will said. Not afraid to throw it. 2-2 or 3-2.
Well, that's the old axiom. You know, it doesn't always work out that way. But they say if you throw a 2-2, you better be able to throw a 3-2.
Heilman's name has bounced around as far as trades go because he's a seasoned guy who's an experienced bullpen guy, late inning guy, too. He's been one of the best ones the Diamondbacks have had this year for a rough bullpen. Chopper toward the hole at shortstop. Drew has it, sets himself and throws, and Worth is retired. 1 away.
Jammed him with a fastball.
So 1 away here in the bottom of the 9th, and now Cody Ransom 2 for 3. He's had a good night. He has singled twice, has scored a run. Saw Greg Dobbs looming there in the dugout. It would be tough for Charlie Manuel to pinch hit him for obviously Ruiz because he's swinging the bat pretty well, but also Valdez because he's playing such good defense.
And right-handed hitters have always hit this guy a lot better anyway because of his changeup to left-hand hitters. In fact, this year, 286, 4 home runs for right-handed hitters, 220 with 1 home run for left-handed hitters.
1-1 the count to Ransom. Off the end of the bat, and it's 1-2. I just always remember that night here at Citizens Bank Park where Aaron Heilman went to field a swing and bunt. He slipped and basically threw a ball from his fanny to first. It was nowhere near in time, and the Phillies won a game.
That was the definition of airmail.
Yeah.
That thing went way up in the air and down the right field line.
Tried to sneak a fastball by Ransom. 95.
It was back in the days when the Phillies were trying to prove they were better than the Mets, and did.
.89 ERA lifetime against the Phillies. 2-2 the count to Ransom. I mean, look at that, Will. 6.89. I mean, he pitched a lot of significant games against the Phillies.
Well,
he didn't do it that well.
And the reason, in my opinion, was because of his success against left-handed hitters. He's a right-handed pitcher. He's like a Madsen. They would use him against all the Phillies' tough left-handed hitters, and they hit him. Jimmy Rollins hit a home run off him one night in New York to beat him.
3-2 the count. So back-to-back hitters now. Heilman has run the count full 3-2.
Trying to get a base run.
Nope, not there. Tied him up. Same kind of pitch he threw to Worth, and Ransom tried to hold up his swing, and there are 2 outs.
He's throwing all those change-ups, and then he comes with a 93 fastball, probably a little off the plate, but not able to hold off with Ransom. Here to see if it may. Yeah, probably was going to be a ball. Tough to tell where that crossed the front of home plate, crossed home plate, and what he would have called it.
So now Carlos Ruiz, who's 1 for 3, and he takes pitch for a strike. Well, that was the pitch that Ransom just checked his swing on right there. And it was called a strike. Oh, with 2 the count. Opposite way for Ruiz. Hit it pretty hard, but right at Justin Upton, and the side is retired. Heilman faces 6, retires all 6, and it means that we've got extra innings here at Citizens Bank Park. We go to the 10th in a 2-2 game. Two-two ball game as we go to the top of the 10th here at Citizens Bank Park. Another sold-out crowd. Phillies are 7-5 in extra inning games. Meanwhile, the Arizona Diamondbacks 3-6 in extra inning games. In fact, it was an extra inning game that started this winning streak for the Phillies. And it was last Thursday. Brad Lidge on for the 10th, his 23rd game. 1-0 with a 4.58 earned run average. And he will face a pinch hitter, Tony Abreu. And then the top of the order for the Diamondbacks. Phillies have won 7 straight. And they're trying to make it 8 straight, trying to make it 11 straight here at home. So here we go, extra innings. Now the first pitch to Abreu, a slider for a strike. It's 0-1. Another slider. That one's hooked foul, and it's no balls at 2 strikes. Abreu overall hitting .228 with no homers and 7 runs batted in. Oh, look out. That ball was drilled. Right into the corner of the camera well. Toward left field. Pretty well hit. Ibanez on the run. He's got room at the track. Makes the catch. What away. Little guy, he's set at a pretty good distance.
Yeah, especially to the offside like that with the wind blowing in.
So Lidge has the first out as Abreu's retired. And that'll bring Chris Young to the plate. Young is 0 for 3. He has popped out to short, grounded to short, lined to short. He's also walked. And Wilson Valdez had nothing to do with that. First pitch is a fastball for a strike. It's 0-1. Oh, and 2. Charlie Manuel decided not to use Brad to start the 9th and go with the matchups, which he has done often over the last couple of years. Just always says, I like this guy or this situation better. But now Lidge has come out, and he's come out firing right here in the 10th. First 2 outs very easily. He's had a pretty good slider these first two batters. Yeah, they're 2 away. That was a good pitch right there.
Yeah, it's a good breaking ball. He got ahead of him. You see the slider that starts on the plate? That's the one. Because the hitter sees it's a strike, and then when he swings, it's not. It's the one that starts way off the plate. The odds are they're not going to swing at.
Here's Kelly Johnson. And it's 1-0 to Johnson. Johnson against Lidge. His career is 0 for 6 with 3 strikeouts. Here's a slider for strike 1. It's easy to say this with nobody on, but he's got a very good tempo going too. He's not as deliberate. And you've talked about that, Wheels, just how much better he is from the windup. Nice play by Andy Rabel just to make things better than before over in the first base dugout.
Great one-handed grab. Still looking in the visor.
1-2 the count to Johnson. Crowd to their feet, and the pitch from Lidge.
Oh, man. Another wicked foul.
In fairness to Andy, we have to show the one that he did catch. Look at that. There's those big paws that Sarge was talking about.
Nice play.
Swing and a miss, he got him. Slider off the outside part of the plate. Back-to-back strikeouts for Lidge. 1, 2, 3 go the Diamondbacks, and now Charlie Manuel's Phillies will step up at the bottom of the 10th with this ball game even at 2 apiece. Lidge came out firing not only with fastballs but also a really good slider, and he keeps this even at 2. Philly sports world. And you can text alerts at 53695 or sign up for alerts at csnphilly.com. If you had been signed up, then you might have been the first to know that the Phillies had acquired Roy Oswalt earlier today for the Houston Astros. Well, Esmeralda Vasquez is the new pitcher for the Diamondbacks as we go to the bottom of the 10th in a 2-2 game. It'll be Valdez, and then it looks like Ross Glow to bat for Brad Lidge, and then the top of the order. We saw Vasquez earlier in the series. Inside to Wilson Valdez. Remember, this is a Diamondbacks bullpen that has the second worst ERA in baseball. 6.50 coming into this series. At one point, first 40 games of the year, earned run average was 7.98. Fastball just missed. 2-1. Vasquez pitched a third of an inning. He allowed a hit to Jason Work and got a strikeout of Ben Francisco in the first game of the series. Chopper right side. Kelly Johnson to his right. One away. And that'll bring Ross Glow to the plate. Well, Ross has 3 pinch hit home runs. Overall, 4 homers. He has 1 as a starting player. 0 for 2 against Vasquez. And the pitch to him. Well, he knows Ross Glow because he came in with something off speed to him. And it's 1-0. Oh, boy. Both those pitches were in the neighborhood of 78 miles per hour.
Well, his reports on Vasquez as he throws his changeup to left-handed hitters a lot. Really comfortable with it, and that's what he's doing.
Another one. Flicked foul, and it's 1-2.
He's not going to give in with fastballs that often to left-handed hitters. And with Glow, he's going changeup, changeup, changeup. Tough to look for a changeup, too, because he throws 92 to 97. He's got a lot of fastball to sit on the changeup with 2 strikes.
There is the fastball, and it's popped down the left field line. On the run is Gillespie into foul territory. Stammers and makes a nice play just over the railing. 2 outs.
Yeah, and that's what happens, when we mentioned when that guy has that much fastball after all those changeups, you get a late swing like Ross got there. He's a good fastball hitter. And as Tom said there, that's a terrific play by Gillespie, who's only out there because Power got ejected.
Well, here's Polanco. All of a sudden, the Diamondbacks bullpen is retired 8 straight. First pitch is low. 1 ball and no strikes to Polly.
You're dealing with a wind blowing in night, which doesn't happen all that often during the summertime here. So it's a lot tougher to end it on 1 swing of the bat.
There's a fastball for a strike, and there's that 92 that Wheels was talking about.
Doesn't mean you can't do it, but you really got to drill one on a night like this, especially if you're going to hit it to left and left center. Well, actually, it's blowing straight in right now.
Toward left center field, Gillespie's on the run. He's not going to get that one. It splits the gap and heads to the wall. And Polanco's going to be at second with a 2-out double.
Now they have to decide what they want to do here. They'll obviously walk Ibanez, and because Francisco's on deck, and they'll take their chance with a pinch hitter because Ibanez doesn't mean anything. Here it is. Good job by Placido. Got a fastball, looked like, and hit it in the gap in left center field. Ibanez will be walked as they get it back in there on the replay, and then they'll go after the pinch hitter. If there is one.
Yeah, if Charlie Emanuel wants to, he can pitch hit Dobbs and counter this move by Kirk Gibson. And with that, Gload could play right if we happen to go to the 11th. Three and 0 the count. There's Contreras. He looks like, if we go to the 11th, will be the next pitcher for the Phillies. And intentional ball 4. Ibanez is aboard, and Francisco is going to bat.
That's because this guy's pretty good against left-handed hitters, you know, so they're going to go with the right-handed hitter, try to take the changeup away from him, I guess.
Well, Stottlemyre Jr. is going to come out to the mound. Quick scouting report, although Vasquez struck Francisco out in the first game of this series. Then just trying to pick up a base hit.
Well, statistically, right-handed hitters only hitting 200 off him, and left-handed hitters 239, but you know, they just like this matchup.
Just laying out the outfield arms. An average arm in center for Chris Young, as this conversation now includes Mike Everett, the home plate umpire. An above average arm in right field in Justin Upton. And an average to above average arm in left field in Cole Gillespie. You know, just in case you're wondering if on a base hit how easy or how hard it will be for Polanco to score from second.
And with the wind blowing in the way that it is and not the winning run at second, they're really cheating in all three outfielders.
So runners on first and second, bottom of the 10th in a 2-2 game. Ben Francisco has a hit tonight in 4 official at-bats. And he takes a fastball inside, 1-0.
Vasquez almost balked on the pitch before that. He was having trouble getting the side, and he almost flinched before he stepped off.
Good changeup, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Late inning games. Beginning of the game, you're wondering, well, who is it going to be at the end of the game? Who am I going to face? For Francisco, right now it's Vasquez with the potential winning run and scoring position.
He missed his spot by so much there that it didn't look like a strike, but it was. You got to give Everett some credit, I think, there for staying with it, because that was a strike, even though the catcher really had to reach for a pitch that was supposed to be in.
1 ball, 2 strikes now to Francisco. Little low, 2-2.
So Big Ed Ryan from Citizens Bank down there umpiring behind home plate.
Was he calling it?
Yeah, he was umpiring down there. That was funny.
Ryan Howard waits on deck. Outside, 3-2. So now Polanco will get a start off second.
Really helps.
There's Big Ed.
He's figuring it all out right now.
He's calling for a home run. He's calling for a home run. He's doing a little Babe Ruth. The runners go. Outside, ball 4. Maybe he was calling for ball 4 for Francisco and calling for a homer for Ryan Howard.
I don't know.
We'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Don't know with Ed. He's a fan.
Ryan's numbers with the bases loaded. All he needs is to hit one right over that shift. Break his bat to left. Something. With the Phillies and the Diamondbacks tied at 2.
And they'll back up now, you know, because it doesn't mean that much. You're not going to throw a guy out at the plate, obviously.
A fastball in there for a strike.
You're going to have that big overshift on for Ryan, of course, with 3 players on the right side. And Reynolds off the line there at third.
Oh, boy. 0-2 the count. Up into the upper deck with that foul ball. Back back-to-back fastballs, and Vasquez, even with all the rally caps around the ballpark, has the upper hand, ahead 0-2. Swing and a miss, he got him. 3 straight fastballs, and the Phillies strand the bases loaded. So get your lineup cards out. We'll go to the 11th inning here at Citizens Bank Park. The Phillies just stranded the bases loaded as Ryan Howard goes down swinging. Go to work at Lehigh. Get all the news Philly sports fans need to know on Toyota Sports Night after the ball game right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Well, top of the 11th and a new pitcher for the Phillies. As expected, it's right-hander Jose Contreras. And he's on to pick up for Brad Lidge, who looked very good in the 10th inning. And let's see if Contreras can do the same stuff here in the 11th. Contreras will face Justin Upton, who got the rally started in the 9th against Charlie Manuel's team. Phillies have not stranded a whole lot of runners tonight, but they just stranded the bases loaded. 8 runners through 10 for the Phillies, and that includes the 3 in the 10th. And a fastball in there for a strike to Upton. You know, it's funny, you look at Vasquez's performance against Ryan Howard. You would have thought there might have been a changeup in there. 3 fastballs.
Yeah, he did. He just kept throwing him fastballs. Fouled that one off and then chased one way out of the strike zone.
Slider away, and it's 1-1 Upton.
Yeah, they did a good job basically outguessing him there.
Tell by Ruiz's reaction and how slow he was to get that ball back to the mound that he wanted that pitch. Upton's double his last time up stretched his hitting streak to 14 games. And now the 2-1. 2-2 the count as he hits that foul. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Padres defeated the Dodgers 3-2. And the Dodgers are now 7 games back. A win in the final at bat for the Padres. They just keep on rolling. Swing and a miss. That is a nasty pitch. A slider at And 1 out here in the 11th inning. Padres are wearing their old brown uniforms tonight as Contreras lets this one go.
As you said, Tom, that's a really good breaking ball there, late biter. Well, that really hurt the Dodgers, that's for sure. You know, they go down and they lose 2 out of 3 to the team they're chasing. They won the first game in that series and
felt pretty good.
Yeah, because they had swept the Padres down there the last time they were in San Diego in May.
Mark Reynolds, the hitter. Or Rusty Ryle, the hitter. And it's outside, 1-0. Ryle came on to pinch run for Adam LaRoche. And he hits that one in the air to left center field. Well, again, the wind has been pushing everything in, so that turns out to be an easy play for Jason Worth for the second out.
I mean, how tough it's going to be to win the game with a home run here tonight, unless you just crush it or hit it low, because that ball was way out on a lot of nights here.
And we've seen a couple balls tonight that would have been way out. Ruiz's ball earlier in the ball game probably would have been out. And there was that ball that Ibanez hit, the second ball Ibanez hit to the wall that would have been out, that Upton caught leaping into the wall.
It's really unusual at this time of the year to catch a night where the wind blows in like this and it's so warm. Out of the north-northeast and a pretty strong wind. Usually the north-northeast means rain.
That's what I was thinking.
Nor'easters. Cold.
Montero has 2 ribbies tonight. A home run and a ground out. He lays off and it's 2-1. He had one of those Baltimore chops his last time up that allowed Upton to score from third.
Well, then Parr hit in the double play that got him ejected when he tossed that, when he banged the helmet down out there.
Two and two, the count to Montero. Three and two.
Here's that ball Tom's talking about. A little chopper here. Oh, Montero, excuse me. That was the ball that he hit deep to right field and out of the ballpark. And that made it 2-1.
Well, even with all this wind, there have been 2 home runs tonight.
Yep. Well, that was a high one, too. That was really hit.
And ball 4. He's aboard. A 2-out walk. He's been on base now 3 times. And here comes Reynolds.
Man, this guy, you know, so that he can hit it through anything. You just have to make pitches to there's Montero just walk. You have to make pitches to Reynolds, because you make a mistake, this guy's mule strong, and it doesn't matter how much wind there is here tonight, he can hurt you.
And there's that pitch that Wheels is talking about. You could pitch to him, and Contreras has got him off balance.
Well, he doesn't swing for singles. You know, he's one of those guys, he's just up there trying to see how far he can hit it. And, you know, that's the point. Don't make a pitch in the strike zone to him that he can handle, because he'll chase.
And tight, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Here he is on Tuesday night to center field. Right up the bullpen steps right there. And that's the point. He can hit him out anywhere.
Classic reaction from Cole Howells for a pitcher who knew it was gone.
Yeah, he didn't want to look. He just followed through and said, uh-oh, I'm not going to see that ball again. Because somebody in the bullpen has it. Put in the shag bag out there or something.
So it's even 2-2 now to Mark Reynolds.
He goes after him with slider away and pitching him in with fastballs.
Yep. To right field. Francisco was deep. He comes on, makes the catch, and the side is retired. No runs, no hits, one man left. We go to the bottom of the 11th inning. It's 1980s retro night. The Phillies looking for a 1980s celebration with Jason Worth, Cody Ransom, and Carlos Ruiz. Top of the 11th, and that takes us to the bottom of the 11th inning at a 2-2 ball game. Well, another trade for those of you watching The Wire. The Minnesota Twins. Boy, I am surprised that the Washington Nationals have traded Matt Capps. But the Twins acquire Matt Capps from the Nationals for Wilson Ramos. Now, Ramos was expected to be a pretty good catching prospect in the Twins organization, but they got Joe Mauer. But Matt Capps we will not see this weekend.
Yeah, he
I really thought I thought they were going to keep him.
Yeah, I did too. They picked up a save. He picked up a save today against Atlanta. He's done a good job for them.
Well, here's Jason Worth leading it off in the bottom of the 11th. And Jason is tied up on that first pitch and fouls it off. Vasquez pitched a scoreless 10th inning, although the Phillies did load the bases. Danny Baez is loosening up to the pen.
Yeah, they're down to Baez and Herndon now. You know, the moves they've got to make tonight. They want to win this game.
1-1 the count.
Because you're dealing with, you know, a lot of guys who are just one-inning guys. Herndon would be the guy who could go multiple innings, so that's why Baez is up.
Jason is 0 for 4 tonight. He has been red hot. They cooled him off a little bit tonight with a lot of soft stuff from Joe Saunders, who started this game, went the first 7. Heilman pitched 2 scoreless out of the bullpen. And now Vasquez. And a foul tip right in the glove of Montero, and Jason is struck out for the 3rd time.
Well, he used that changeup really effectively. He throws it to right-handed hitters too. That's been a pitch that Jason had a little trouble with tonight. Here it is. See him tuck it back in his hand and dives pretty well. Good changeup, good arm speed.
Here's Cody Ransom. He's 2 for 4. Struck out his last time up. Gillespie's really deep in left. Upton's not as deep in right.
And they're guarding the line with Reynolds at 3rd. You see he's got some room to hit a ball through on the left side. A lot of room up the middle to the shortstop, Drew's left.
I honestly think the way Drew plays short, because he is a lot of times a step or 2 over toward the hole, that's helped him tonight. He's cut off a couple of balls on the ground.
Yeah, it's just a matter of whether they want to position a guy, if they're going to play to a guy's pull side and you know, and think that they're going to pull, and they'll pitch him that way, and they position the guy right.
2-1 the count to Ransom.
Drew's a good shortstop. Kind of disappointing, I think, for them this year, some of the things. But you look at his numbers, he's had some good years, and he's got a good arm, has range out there. I think you're almost going to have to put a rally together to win this game. You know, a hit, a walk, another hit, maybe, because of the way this wind is blowing in.
It's not as strong now as it was, but it's still moving pretty good.
Yeah. I hope I just put you right into your home run call.
3-2 the count to Ransom. One thing the Phillies have done during this winning streak, and Carlos Ruiz has been a big part of it, they have been able to manufacture runs. Yes, they've hit homers, but they've also manufactured runs. That one is straight back and off the facing of the upper deck. Almost went into a little lower. That would have went into the TV booth to our right. Not a lot of balls that go up there. Mark Grace is ready, though.
He's Gold Glover. He
That's right.
Caught it. There's Gracie. That's a piece of work right there. He's funny.
He's always moving.
Oh, he is hyperactive. He could hit, too.
Ooh. Down low, tough pitch to take, but Cody did it. And it's ball 4. A 1-out walk.
His partner over there is Darren Sutton, who, of course, is Don Sutton's son. And, you know, they have a tough thing going right now during the game, but it beats a real job. They know that, but it's tough when you're covering a team that's struggling like this.
Well, Carlos Ruiz did win a ball game for the Phillies against Blake Hawksworth, on May 4th.
When Hawksworth was a reliever for the Cardinals, now a starting pitcher.
That was a great shot. That little guy getting the ball from his dad. And Carlos takes a fastball low. It's 1-0. Pitch totals are piling up now for Vasquez. 36 pitches. With that last one to Carlos. It was 1 for 4 tonight. Outside 2-0.
See, this guy, when he throws his fastball, really comes across his body, and he has a tendency to pull it outside. That's why he misses his spot a lot of times if they're trying to come in. And he really comes across his body with it. And when he throws his changeup, he seems like he has a better arm angle and, you know, is much more effective with it.
37 pitches, one more ball than strike. That also includes that intentional walk to Ibanez. 2-0 the count to Carlos.
Pitch to hit. Made a good swing at it, too.
Ransom leads off first, and now a toss over. Off the hands, a looper to left. That's going to drop in for a base hit. And the Phillies have 2 aboard with 1 out.
That's what we're talking about, a rally, you know, a walk, a hit, and maybe another hit, and you win the game because it'd be so tough to win it tonight with a home run ball.
The bottom of the Phillies order this year, when things are going well, has really contributed. There is Jordan Norberto, who is loosening up in the pen. Greg Dobbs is in the on-deck circle, and that's probably why Norberto is loosening up.
Yep, that's why he's there. He's ready for Dobbs. Phillies have Greg Dobbs, Brian Schneider, of course, the backup catcher, and don't know if Rollins is available.
Yeah, Jimmy did take BP today, and he did take ground balls during BP. But that doesn't mean that he's healthy enough to pitch it, although he's getting ready to go.
Yep.
He's got a little swagger to him right now. He's getting that dance step back. Well, Stottlemyre Jr. back out to the mound.
See, on the bench, the Diamondbacks bench right now, they're wondering, I wonder if Rollins is available.
Well, Jimmy wasn't in the starting lineup, so they didn't get a chance to see his picture, but he's looking a little Michael Jackson-ish.
Yeah, he'd like that.
I think he'd really like that one.
What does he say when he does that thing on the board? Handsome. One of his personality traits. And he goes, handsome.
Here's Valdez with 1 out, 2 aboard. And he takes it low, 1-0.
Big hole on the left side because they're cheating up the middle for a double play. Ransom, he's not a bad runner. He's one of those guys that you can take a chance if things work out. Good walking lead they want.
Towards center field. That's going to drop in front of Young. Here comes Cody Ransom. The throw to the plate. It hits the mound, and the Phillies have won it. 8 consecutive victories, and this one in extra innings. The hero is Wilson Valdez. An RBI single, and the Phillies take this one 3-2, and they have swept out the homestand.
How about a walk and a couple singles? Probably be a good way to win this game.
A little manufacturing.
But you had to do tonight. I really believe that because of the conditions here did not lend itself to a walk-off bomb. And they did a nice job there of some really good at-bats in that inning and won the ball game. Here's Valdez, and Wilson gets a fastball right down the middle. And as Tom said, here's one of the keys. I just mentioned Ransom gave you a chance. That throw is right on line, and it hit the mound. That was going to be exciting if that had cleared the mound. But, Sam's going to take a chance because he had a runner who can run a little bit. And once it hit the mound, it's over.
Phillies have swept out this homestand.